Welcome back to Anime Savants, everyone. Ooh, this week I'm Nico Robin.
Ooh, this week I'm Mei Mei.
Okay.
You know what's cool? I can actually, you could say Nico Robin, and I'm like, I watch One Piece. now.
Oh, fuck.
Now I can do it.
Okay.
Who am I? I am, I'm Kazuya, Rent a Girlfriend. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
No,
Oh.
I am Satoru Gojo.
That's a good. Listen, I was about to say I'm the producer who decided to make Atelier Ryza thigh meet the show, but that's not. I don't know his name. So
No hidden agenda. Zero hidden agenda.
No.
Okay, so then we will go ahead this week and we will answer. Well, oh wait. As you all can see, he's gonna be somewhere. He's gonna be on the video somewhere. But Joe is back with us again. Joe, for the new people who don't know who you are. What? Who are you?
Reactions. I watch a lot of anime. I watch a lot of anime, do a lot of anime reactions.
40K Joe just hit 40K
yeah,
subs.
40K. Woo!
Congrats.
I'm so happy.
Congrats.
It's a lot of grinding. Honestly, the last couple of months have been pretty crazy in terms of just like, so that's awesome.
Good.
Nice.
So we will be going into our question of the week this week. This one got more answers. Y'all some depraved motherfuckers. But we will be doing the what is the anime scene that you have rewatched the most. So there is one from One Piece, but it's like way far ahead where you're at, Joe. So I'm not gonna say
right. Just no, you're good. Just
no.
go ahead
I won't say, but it's from the recent thing where the big guy
I
gets
took out my
punched.
headphones, so I'm gonna put him back in.
Okay, it's from the recent thing where like the big guy gets punched and they like animated the shit out of it.
Oh, okay,
I'm pretty sure
just
you
some
guys.
Sakuga. Gotcha.
Yeah, it was just like crazy. Somebody just like watches that Sakuga scene like over and over and over and over again. Because they just really like what, like, you know, how it was presented and all kind of stuff, the flashbacks, etc., etc. So yeah, I'm not telling you like which characters, who did the punching, all kind of shit like that. Yeah, no. But if you all watch One Piece, or if you were around Twitter for the 2 weeks after it aired, like it premiered, I'm pretty sure you've seen that clip. Otherwise, someone said a specific scene in Titan's Bride.
Oh my god!
I will not.
Oh no!
Be saying the scene,
no!
But thank you for at least responding to the question.
Yo, that person came off your channel. Okay, that had to be.
Yeah, they must have come off our channel, or my channel. But yeah, that happened. Okay, and
I think last time we've talked about this a lot. That Vegeta saying Pride speech. Come on.
Yes.
Come
yeah.
Come on.
And I think I talked about mine when we asked the question also, which was the titty docking scene. Well, no, it's not titty docking, but basically from Symphogear XV, where they were fighting like the god fetus and like shit was just going crazy. And they were like getting sliced up and like blown up by nuclear bombs. And then they shot one girl in a missile and then it hit the missile. And then she came out and then she had like 2 golden mecha arms where she like was blocking lasers and shit like that. It's just like, you just can't be mad at Symphogear. But I watch that like 3 times a week. Like whenever I go on the subway, I always watch that. And it makes the ride go like boom. And the titty docking where like the 2 girls with the biggest boobs, like they threw a gun and like a blade up in the air and they like expanded and made like a hyper cannon, but there was only one panel to like hold the stick. So then they just put their boobs up on each other like this and held the stick at the same time and then shot the huge laser at the baby fetus, like god thing, and it injured it and it immediately healed. So there was just no point for them to do that at all. But they did it and it was amazing. Anime.
All right, I give you a couple more. The transformation scene from episode 1 of Penny and Stocking, like that shit's fucking crazy. I love that shit. Golden Boy, Kintaro going down the mountain on the bicycle with the motorcycle chick, like that always comes back because it's so fucking absurd. There's so many, like man.
Also, there's a lot of stuff that I rewatch from the daily life of high school boys on a regular basis because that shit is just hilarious. So yeah, those were the answers. I'm pretty sure there are more. I just probably haven't looked at them yet.
Oh, Nichijou, the goat scene, and
oh my god!
murder.
Oh, and the BL scene.
Yeah,
holy
the BL
shit!
The murder of that police officer. Yo,
the goat. Okay,
I'm a sucker for the like just
it's
like
the craziest thing ever. I don't think that I've watched a single anime that you guys have mentioned this entire time, aside from probably like Dragon Ball, but like I don't.
Yeah,
perfect.
That's fine.
Wild.
That's why you're here, Joe.
That's cool. I like that though. That's one thing I really like about you guys. You guys just watch so much other shit than me, and I love it. It's so great.
Yeah, that's also why I'm so behind on the current stuff. Anyways, yeah, so let's go ahead and get into what we're watching. So, Joe, what are you watching?
What do you like? You watch everything. So
okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. What do you like?
Careful.
Yes.
Careful.
Okay. So just seasonally or like everything?
Just right now. What's going on?
Or did you want to do
what I'm liking the most? I'm not gonna
season?
lie. This is gonna be a wild statement because I don't think that I would have said this months ago. But honestly, the thing I like the most that I'm watching is One Piece.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No. Okay, no, you can't just.
Got him.
You can't just. Oh, okay. No, because this is so weird for me personally.
I was scared for a second.
I would have never been the guy to say that. And honestly, if it wasn't,
everyone says that. Everyone is like, I'm never watching One Piece. It's too fucking long. Blah blah blah. And then bit by bit, it's just like, oh, okay, you at this part. You at
if
that
it wasn't
part.
if it wasn't for me reaching just about the end of Water 7, I would not be saying this. But because I'm like, I've just watched 316, which is the reveal of Grandpa and Luffy's dad, which is like, that's really cool. So I've watched everything up to that point, which is really sick. And so maybe that is, or maybe seasonally, I'd say the thing that I'm most excited for, or that I'm watching that I most love, whatever, is fuck if I know. I don't know actually.
That's fine.
It's okay to not have it.
I will piggyback off of it then and be like, I'm hands down
tensei.
heavy on Mushoku. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hands down, my favorite. With a close second being Zom. I actually really like Zom. The Zom's first episode, which I know. Wait, I don't know about the. Wait, no. Oh wait, no. James watched part of it.
I'm like most of the way through that episode.
Yeah.
Like I'm past like there's no reveals that would matter. You know, like the zombies are out. He's doing crazy shit.
And then Horimiya Pieces. I'm still watching that, but Horimiya Pieces is literally pieces. Like it's not a congruent storyline or anything. It's literally just like, this is all the shit we left out the manga, so we're just gonna fucking animate it. So that kind of makes it like a you kind of should have like put this shit in there in the first place. But I can understand them being like, oh well, we didn't know how popular this shit was gonna be and that we would get more money to do it. So they did. It's good. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I will be watching this week that I know I need to watch. But one thing I'm not watching is Risa.
Oh, please, God. Kill me. Kill me.
Not watching Risa.
I couldn't do it.
I play the video games, so I've gotten enough.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't do it. We might as well just start there. But I'll say, like, this is for the favorite single thing that I've seen is really more because I was surprised that I was really enjoying it. Was probably the first episode of Seven Spellblades, even though it's not the best show. The best show very clearly is like a toss-up between, the big three everyone talks about, Mushoku Tensei, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Bleach. I think JJK had the strongest, like, of those three, had like the strongest reintroductory episode. Yeah. Because it was just so tightly paced, and I think I'm a manga reader, so like I just want to see how they're going to adapt this part. But for people who are like TV only, getting the young Gojo, the young Geto, like that whole team and like the vibe of this season is so well done, especially if you know what is going to happen. The way that they're sort of pairing how upbeat and playful a lot of things are with like how fucking insane this shit is going to be is awesome. So, but yeah, that's probably the best. But do we want to talk about Ryza? Because am I the only person who watched any of it? Joe,
I didn't watch it at all. I had my chat like, oh, you gotta watch it. The thighs, and I was like,
not touching it.
Yeah,
I already know. I knew what they were gonna do. I knew they were gonna do this, and then the trailer dropped, and I was like, they're doing it. They're doing it. And then I saw the opening and the ending, and I was like, it's a wrap. There ain't no fucking way they didn't make the entire show thighs. There's no way they didn't.
We talked a lot about the concept of what this show was going to be last week, and I was very outspoken about the kind of people who make this and the kind of people who enjoy this. And I just want to say up front, if you are a Ryza the game fan, they have given you far more than my experience with the game has ever given me. Right? It is definitely characterizing all of the people in the show in a way that should be exciting and rewarding for a player if you're just into it, because it just felt like there was budget and there was sort of time spent letting some things breathe, but they kind of get to the adventuring within the first like 7 minutes. My problem with the show is that it almost feels slightly like dirty to watch, not because of the thighs, but because of the way that they're presented. Like all the fan service that's in the show is presented in like like in a way it's almost like they're embarrassed of it, but they're kind of not. So it feels like I'm watching kink in a way. And I'll give you an example. Right? So if you watch the trailer, there are a lot of shots in the trailer where it's like, oh, let's just like see Ryza from the side pulling up a boot, or oh, there's the thigh, and it's like, okay, that's like trailer fodder, it's fine, because it comes at you like it's a flash, and then they move it, they have to show you something else. When you are watching, I didn't make it out of the first like 6+ minutes, leaving aside like the opening, and the reason was that you'd be having this totally normal scene. It would be like Ryza is trying to skip out on farm work because she's bored. She's on this island, doesn't want to like live a boring life, and always wanted to go adventure and blah blah blah. The usual call to adventure part of the storytelling. And we meet her friends, and she's hanging out. But it starts out with her and her family, so they're just on the farm. So when she gets up, the first time you see her, they give you a more or less full body shot, and from a distance, her outfit looks like something a main character would wear if you don't squint at it too hard. But then, like within maybe 40 seconds, she's having a conversation with her dad, and the camera is shooting like from her like upper thigh to like just here. So it's like it's a camera cut, and it's just staring at her midsection and her thighs, and I'm just like, oh wait, is that what the show is? And it quickly like cuts away, like somebody saw you looking, and it's like, okay, standard shot reverse. And then like another 30 seconds will go by, and she'll be walking down a road, and you'll just be like, why is the camera kind of slightly zoomed into her thighs again, or whatever? Also, they have one of the cheapest like high quality walk cycles I've ever seen, where it's like they cut frames. I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, I thought you put some money into the show, and it just keeps happening. Like
they did in the thighs.
Yeah, but it keeps happening in ways where it's like the show is kind of like it's teasing its audience because it knows that the people who are there are not there for the plot. Okay? But it's not doing the other thing where it's like this, just say, I'm owning that this is fan service, me the producer. I'm owning that what I'm making is fan service. So it's just give you the fan service and roll you over with it. Make it the greatest fan service you ever saw. It's just sort of, it feels kind of dirty, but like not in a fun way. In like a little bit exploitative, and then it had me thinking, like, why should I care about anybody in the show? They're all like kind of stupid.
I'm surprised they got to the adventuring so fast, but
because they had to. There's no other plot. The plot is like, people don't leave the island. It's the tradition. You don't want to break tradition by leaving. And Rise is like, I'm teenager and I want to go and have an adventure with my friends, and we're gonna steal a boat. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You keep showing me this highly sexualized 14-year-old. At some point, I gotta be like,
And there's so much of storyline wise that they could have like foreshadowed outside of her thighs on the island. But okay,
I like thighs.
The next thing, now the next big thing is for them to meet Lila, the hugest tits on the planet.
I don't know, man.
So
So that was my.
I will tune in for that episode because I literally want to see the physics. I want to see how much they put into the physics of her. Cause just look. You can look her up. You can look Lila up. You can see what that's about.
The most honest thing that they could do is for just some fan to release a supercut of every episode with just her thighs in it. That would be the most honest thing.
It's probably on TikTok right now.
I'm sure it is. It's just, come on, man. And I'll talk later about some fan service I really did like because it owns what it is. But anyway, so that was my experience there. I'll cut that one short. Where do we want to start with the stuff that maybe Joe?
What's up?
What have you seen from the season that you actually got into that is like, yeah, I like this?
A lot of things. Aside from the big stuff, I don't know how much we want to talk about the big stuff. What I like the most. So I don't know if anybody's seen the first episode of My Happy Marriage.
I have not.
I haven't, but I am planning on checking that out because I've seen a lot of people say they loved it.
It was good. It was a very good introductory episode.
Okay.
It's going to be romantic drama, not romantic comedy.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Even better.
It's real romance, not they're doing the cute fucking trope again.
Like you're an incel.
Yeah, it's not all that. It's going to be much more drama heavy. First episode, very drama heavy, and I really liked it. But since you're going to watch it, I don't want to say much because it would kind of spoil. And it's just good. If people like romance, highly recommend. But it's not going to be very comedic. I liked Spellblade 2, but not as much as like Undead Murder Farce, which was
that's undoubtedly the better written thing. Yes, I agree with you.
That was probably the best first. I don't know about best first episode. Maybe it was the best
original first episode.
It was the best anime I didn't expect to like so much. Like I knew I was gonna like the big ones, but literally, it's maybe my 5th favorite thing that I'm watching right now.
So like non-AAA anime favorite, yeah.
That's really cool, and so is Dark Gathering. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
It's on my list.
Oh yeah, that's on my list because a lot of people after I got into Zom, they were like, "Oh, you got to go watch Dark Gathering. It's just as good." And I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck is that?" But apparently, that one's like more scary.
Yeah, it's way Zom. Creepier, much more horror. I feel like Zom 100 is going to be very like fun. Like I want to do these cool things. Yeah,
and the zombies are just going to be a backdrop in a sense.
Right. It feels like I think Zom, right? It feels like more like a workplace, it's more rather an anti-work zombie comedy.
You know, I found it so funny because I had people commenting and they were like, I hated the first half of Zom. Like, it was so fucking boring and blah, 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 blah.
Oh, it wasn't boring. It was great.
And I was like, I actually really liked it. Like, what? And then they made a comment and they were like, I guess it just really depends on like the person's like lived experiences. Because it was a guy who said that he went to like work abroad in Japan. He worked for like a graphics company. And he said that they would work from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. Like regularly. Oh, and he was like, this was my life. So he was like, this used to be my life. So like seeing this shit, it really like hit shit home about like, yo, no, this nigga is miserable and also trauma. Like, he's like, I'm feeling it. It's bringing shit back to life. Like exhaustion, like just living off of coffee and energy drinks nonstop. So I think maybe that was kind of like a younger mindset. Cause I definitely understood about like, you know, just being over your 9 to 5, just being like, I'm tired of this shit. But then also that was a black company, which I love it. A lot of people don't know what black companies are in Japan either.
Kills me trying to talk about black companies.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't ever want to work for a black company. And it's just like, when I say it, it's just weird.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. When you're talking about it in like the context of anime, it's kind of just a black
But a lot of people
company.
don't know what it is. And that's why I feel weird saying it.
Or what did they say? Like a kuro something? Like,
it's long.
Yeah.
So I thought a lot about Dungeon of the Black Company when I was watching this, which is another show. I don't know.
Like that one.
I really enjoyed that, and I feel like this is a slightly different take because in Dungeon of the Black Company, the comedy is every episode was a riff on a real sort of employee-employer relation problem that people have with Japanese black companies. And so the main cast finding creative ways in universe to exploit that for their own, selfishness or their own whatever it was and get ahead was fun, and the company was always the enemy. This is not the zombies are there, I think, more in Zom. They're more there for like scene setting and the allegory of regular life being prior to the outbreak. They deliberately make a lot of the humans look like they are basically zombies. So now you're living in the zombie world, and our main character is more free. Everything is colorful. Even the zombies are more exciting, and they're running around. They're more active, whereas everyone else before was dead. So I think it's more for the allegory and less for the I don't know if the zombies are going to play very much of a independent role. So they're similar in that they're Black Company and Zom, that they're both comedies, directly they're supposed to be farcical. We'll talk about the murder farce in a second, I guess. But I enjoyed both for similar reasons, because the actual commentary behind the comedy is also interesting. Maybe folks who are more familiar will get more out of it. Who knows?
A crazy episode that I just watched today was the second episode of the level 1 hero and the the level 1 demon lord and the 1 room hero.
How is that?
It's supposed to be just straight up comedy.
Okay.
But holy shit. Episode 2. The end of episode 2 is absolutely degenerate, wild.
Oh boy. Okay.
You speak my language. All right, let's go.
So the demon lord has a secretary, and the secretary, I guess, easily gets drunk. The demon lord needs to go pick up, I don't know, some a drink, or I forgot what it was. They had to pick up something from the grocery store or the Kobeni, and then the hero's left there with the secretary. Secretary is drunk off of one drink, a single can of something, because that's typical. She also had just taken a shower, and she already hates the hero because he's the hero. And for some reason, the demon lord kind of, I don't know about idolizes, that might be the right word, but definitely puts the hero on a pedestal because, the hero has defeated the demon lord previously. And just shit happens, and she is trying to kill him. The secretary is trying to kill the hero as he's running around town, and the towel didn't last.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's
there
not
are
too
some
crazy.
There are some angles. There are some shots though. There are some wild shots.
That was a little mini theme in sensuality as well.
I didn't watch it. Yeah, how is that?
I think so. I had 4 reactions over the course of the first episode. Most of them were very positive because I went into it knowing nothing other than that Bandai was producing it. So it is not having watched the first episode. I think it's a more of a traditional post-apocalyptic sci-fi action adventure show. It took me a little bit to get around what the tone was, because if you look at the character designs, you would assume that all of them are young, 18 and younger, but the themes and a lot of other things that happen and the way the characters relate to each other, I think they're all supposed to be a little bit older, including the main character who looks 15 but is probably a little bit older than that, and his mentor figure is definitely an adult. So the premise of the show is that there has been some kind of worldwide apocalypse that has gotten into the water that's trapped in the atmosphere, and that has caused all kinds of issues. The cities are abandoned. I assume the population is much smaller because we only are dealing with a small town in the first episode. There are creatures that are in the environment that seem like they are some weird hybrid of insect and maybe alien thing. It's not really clear. What we do know is that a large part of the population of Earth at one point was living either on a space station or on the moon, and the main character is kind of obsessed with proving that is true because it's kind of like a myth. And meanwhile, everybody on Earth is sort of grinding it out, raiding cities for supplies. But they have advanced technology because this definitely takes place much further in the future. So the episode opens with the main character stumbling across a sleeping female android. And the moment I took a look at her, I'm like, this could go one of two ways. Either they are cooking with gas and they are picking visual themes that people will find familiar because she looks just like fucking Rei Ayanami, like just filled... Rei Ayanami if she liked to eat, okay? Like that's the best way I can describe that character. Like a human being, not like a waif. But the same gray white hair, very similar facial features. But they find this android is knocked out because they were like scavenging. They get into a fight, him and his mentor figure. And then that's when you see the mecha. And the mecha design kind of clued me in that this is going to be like less hard sci-fi and more like I would say fun adventure. Because when you start to look at them, they really do remind you of like Gurren Lagann dimensions. I don't know if you like the idea of like these sort of very large faces, but like sort of stumpy, a little like industrial looking bodies, and they move around very nimbly. So the action sequences are very like, zipping around and firing like big guns and all that kind of stuff. So it's fun. So in the first like 3 to 5 minutes, you're getting this like pastiche of different shows that you're probably familiar with, all of which are probably better than what this is, but it doesn't feel gratuitous. It feels like, oh, the person or people behind this, they like this aspect from Evangelion. They like this aspect from Gurren Lagann. They like this aspect from, even probably like Super Robot Wars, because it reminds me of some of the proportions. But they don't go too far. There's nudity in this episode. There is a lot of adult drinking. There's a cool scene where you find out that the mentor figure, Tokyo, it's spelled Tokio, not Y, he's beefing with this other set of drifters, which are their version of like, mecha piloting scavengers. And they are constantly like fucking with each other. And there's like a 3-minute dick joke that it took me like 10 seconds to figure out where they were going, because I guess they go out into the ruins, they come back with these crystals. And so you enter the scene where the first drifter team is like showing off their gigantic crystal, and then our heroes come in with their slightly bigger crystal, and then it turns into a long literal dick measuring joke where the sort of scrappy old lady who runs the market literally grabs both of them, smashes their dicks together, and says, "Stop it with this small dick energy bullshit." And I was just like, I think I can get to like this. What's happening here? Our Teacher, the main character, is really into like retro stuff, but his retro is our present. So he like is collecting things that are junk, like a computer mouse or like a washing machine or like a whatever. But he doesn't know what any of it actually, or a lot of it, he doesn't know what most of it is. So it's really cool to see like what would be net today. Like if you went to like someone's home, if you went to my home, forget somebody else, you would see like, a lot of like kitsch and other stuff from 20 or 30 years prior. Imagine like the stuff that we enjoy is the kitsch for, a character in this world. And then that explains why he's obsessed with like old junk, including this robot girl that he's picked up who has, as you would expect, has no memory, isn't really good at anything, because in this world they need AI partners to pilot their mecha, but not like in a sexual way. They just sort of interface with the machine and just let them take care of shit that they don't need to take care of. So it's cool. And I won't go too much further than that if you haven't watched it. I think the first episode is worth a watch, and it's worth a listen, because I think that one of the things I've noticed with all the shows I'm going to talk about, with maybe the exception of some of the bigger ones, is that the music selection in Sensuality is really good. Like at first you're like it somehow manages to take like synth and pop and like some Western themes and a little bit of hip hop and whatever, and blend it together. So we're like, you're going from scene to scene. The energy is always the same, but the soundtrack, that variety fits. I don't know how it happened, but I was like vibing. I was like, oh, okay. So we got some bops in here, and it makes sense. It doesn't feel forced. So it's a very like natural first episode to watch. So I don't know if it's gonna do anything special like story wise, because you've kind of seen some of these elements before, but there is an interesting adventure and a world, and it's a pretty slick technology. Like, the animation is really good for the humans, and then they do CGI for the mecha, but it's very expressive because the mecha are supposed to, when the pilot's in there, the purpose of putting them on screen is to show the personalities of these different pilot characters. So they all move differently and they emote, and there's silly stuff that happens, and I think it's just a lot of fun. It just reminded me of a lot of shows I like. But I don't know if it'll ever get to be more than the sum of its parts yet.
Okay.
Jordan, what have you been excited for, or did you see that really got you going?
I don't really feel like I got anything that was like super got me going. I watched Ayaka's first episode, and that was... I enjoyed it, but after seeing everything else that's been premiering, I kind of have had like no interest in going back whatsoever. Not that it was bad. Like they did a really good job world building, and they did a really good job of just immediately addressing the whiny main character and being like, "What is your problem?" And then he tells the problem, and they're like, "Well, that happened because of this." And he's like, "Oh," and they're like, "Yeah, so stop complaining about it. Like, let's go." Let's go. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I like that. I like that. But there's it, like, I know what they're going to try to do, but it's like it's on this island, and I think, is it 2 cores? I just feel as though
it's gonna take a while.
It's gonna either take a while, or the mystery is not gonna be enough for 24 episodes. It's gonna they're gonna drag shit out, because if they move at the same pace that they did in the first episode, I feel like it shouldn't take that long to get through this mystery. But then he also has to deal with 3 brothers who were the apprentices of his father. So there's going to be an arc for one brother, an arc for another brother, an arc for this brother. And then maybe like we'll get into what's really going on, what happened with the father, and then the bigger scheme of what the islands actually are and how they, because it has to do with like magic ley lines and things of that nature. Gotcha. And there was even the thing in the first episode where he was like, "I don't even think my dad is my real dad." And they were like, "That's a lie." Like, definitely your dad, but no one knows who his mom is. So that's a whole other thing. So a lot of like really good foreshadowing was done in the first episode, but I kind of was just like, I woke up Saturday and I was like, do I really want to go watch this shit right now?
Damn.
Damn.
Maybe. So I think it's most likely going to be something that I will end up binging. Probably, like random, like Sunday, Monday, kind of thing, where I'm kind of just like, damn, I really want to watch something, but everything else has aired already. And I'll be like, what's going on with Ayaka? Like, I'll catch up on that. I watched Zom, really fucking loved it. Loved the progression of color after a certain, like, titular scene. And honestly, the Sakuga was fucking insane.
Hell yeah.
It was insane. Oh my God. I was not, I knew the show was going to be, actiony, but I also like how at the very beginning they were just like, oh yeah, oh you did rugby through college, and now you're doing this. And I'm like, he's this athletic because he did rugby his entire life. Of course he's gonna be like booking it. Like he has he has the stamina, he has all that shit. So it wasn't just a far-fetched like, oh my God, you're fucking lazy hikikomori and now it's a zombie apocalypse and you just like busting through niggas like they're nothing. It's like, oh no, he did this, they said that, boom, bam, bam. But also, the main character, he's inspiring. He's innocent. He's naive. I wouldn't say innocent. He's naive. But I honestly don't think the show is going to the show's going to be dark, but I don't think it's going to be a show of like, we're teaching you all lessons through him. It's more so of them just like, oh, this is some fun shit, and serious things happen. But at the end of the day, it's a bucket list. So like, let's hit the bucket list. That's the vibe. Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting from it. But we'll see. And then Mushoku Tensei, they had episode 0 last week, and then they had episode 1 this week. And I mean, it's just more Mushoku Tensei. And I just can't state how much I love how the show does not hide how shitty of a person Rudy is, because he is a shitty person. The fact that in the episode, he literally was just like, okay, I'm just gonna die. Like, we're all y'all, like all of y'all just like fighting right here. And he has the ability to save everybody. He's like, I don't give a fuck about life no more, man. I'm just gonna fucking die. Like, I don't care. Like, the whole new party, just like struggling for their lives when somebody else would have been, or probably would have been like, you know what? I can take care of these monsters. I'm gonna kill these monsters, and I'll be like, yo, I got something to do deeper in the forest. I'm gonna go kill myself. But y'all go back to town, complete the thing, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just like, you're still so like utterly selfish and just
and
like,
he's capping the entire time. He's literally talking about how, oh yeah, my mom, I gotta find my mom. I'm gonna save my mom. And he is not even talking. He's not thinking about his mom at all.
He's not thinking about
It's all Eris, a little bit of Roxy, but it's mainly Eris, and he's not thinking about his mom. But he's just not a good person.
Yeah. And leave it to this fucking show for the whole episode to basically be like, damn, this nigga's depressed, like this, that, blah, 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 blah. And then in the last 2 fucking minutes, he pulls out those fucking panties. And the panties were the thing that was centering him. I thought it was the hair. I thought it was the hair. And then he looked over and the hair.
I'm like, it's the hair.
It's the hair.
I know it. That's the hair.
In that scene, he looks over at the counter, and I'm like,
it's the hair. Wait, what the fuck you mean it's the hair?
Then what is he grabbing in the fucking satchel? Panties. And I'm like,
the holy
y'all are true. You all are true to. He is true to himself. This character is
blessed,
true
baby.
to him. Listen, and I couldn't even. I'm not mad. I'm kind of just like, damn, you got me though. Like, you really got me. I really thought he was like going through it, and like that was the hair was his, calming device. No, it's fucking panties. Bro. Some fucking panties. Keep it a buck. So,
keep it a buck.
Really enjoyed that, and yeah, I'll have way more to talk about next week because there was just too many video games coming out. I fucking no-lifed Master Detective Archives, and then have been finishing up Final Fantasy 16 shit like that. So I was like, I ain't watching nothing because I didn't want to get spoiled on those games. I was like, these anime, like they just started, so like first episode, whatever, blah blah blah. We had a whole season, but I was like, with this shit, I gotta get it done now. So
we'll talk about that. I think back at the end because I'm in the same boat. Joe, Undead Girl Murder Farce.
Oh yeah, I want to hear about this. You too.
It just felt like it was just intriguing from the opening, like from everything. Oh, and also the opening was really good. That's another thing. But the show just felt like it built up something that was very interesting. They connected some things really well in the first episode. That kind of, because sometimes they'll be like, oh yeah, we got this character and now I'm gonna help this character, but there's no real connection. But it felt like they set up a real connection between them. I'm definitely, things are gonna change for the the lady over the course of it. She's like, oh yeah, just I want to die, but no, you're not going to want to. He's going to help you. You're going to whatever. And y'all are going to be happy and stuff. But it's the journey along the way that's going to be really exciting. And it feels like it's well written. It feels extremely interesting. I love the fact that he was he's supposed to be changing to slowly turn into a full demon. And he wanted to keep on fucking doing the cage matches in front of the audience.
That was that way when he does turn,
he kills all of those motherfuckers.
That explanation had me.
I love that, dude.
So yeah, we should talk. I guess Jordan, you haven't seen this, but the concept for Undead Girl is it's a alternate history. Takes place in the Meiji era. I don't remember quite how many years had passed since the actual revolution, but it's in a world where there are demons and yokai that are still in Japan. But when the Black Ship crisis occurs, as part of the Japan's plan to open its borders, they also decide to exterminate as many of the demonic creatures that were living there. So now they're there's not that many left, and our main character, who's Tsugaru, I think. He's we don't learn till the end, but at the end of the first episode, you basically learn that he's a part yokai or part oni, not part yokai, part oni. And oni have special abilities separate and apart from other yokai, which they do detail a little bit in it, but he clearly did not become an oni either by choice or
so he wasn't one by birth.
No, he was he's like an experiment that didn't quite work out. He got injected somehow with something, and now you know, everyone, there's a gag that's kind of undersold in the beginning, where he's walking around town looking for something to drink because he's working with this traveling circus, and the local vendor is like, yeah, you should probably go get that checked out. And he's like, get what checked out? He's like, yeah, you know, you got basically a sexually transmitted disease, because they were looking at the lines on his face, and you know, what do they know, you know? So they just assumed it was an illness. And no, that is his. You can see in his character design, he's got these blue lines and patterns on his body, and that's a mark that he has got this Oni blood in him. So he is approached by Aya, who is the severed head of an immortal, to kill her because she was decapitated by another half Oni half-breed, and she decided she doesn't really want to live without her body, because the body is gone. There's no way to get it back, or at least couldn't think of a way, so might as well find somebody who could like fully kill her, because she'll just regenerate from anything else. And then she has an assistant, Shizuku, who carries her head around in a bird cage that's covered up. So the visual of all of it, when you start to watch the show, is like it's a little dark, it's a little subdued. There's a little bit of Sakuga potential, because you see there's a fight with a yokai that, like, I think is pretty well animated, but specifically, I think this show for me gets over on the direction. So, for example, most people who might enjoy it would say, oh yeah, the fight between Suguru and Shizuku was so cool. And it was, but the thing I paid attention to were the little details. Like, there's a part where they're fighting with each other, and rather than have the camera, like, looking at them directly, it's actually a vertical camera, and it shows a little bit of their bodies moving, but you can really see their reflection in the river. And things like that. There's like little stuff,
direction.
Like angle changes. There's a part in that fight where
cinematography.
Exactly. He allows like a bottle to get cut in half, and then instead of saying like a side by side of him throwing, they do it like head on, and he throws into the camera, and then they cut to him already jumping over Shizuku in a way that really communicates that he's like charging and distracting, and he loses a shoe in the process, or a sandal, and so that one comes off, and then when he lands, he kicks the other one away. But it's like a little thing. It's like in the bottom corner of the screen where like your eye is not gonna pay attention, but there's like little stuff like that where it's like, this is not a AAA budget sort of show, but they spend it in the right places. The direction is really, really strong. The writing is fantastic. There's as Joe mentioned, there's a 3 or 4 minute segment where Aya and Suguru go back and forth, basically both admitting that they want to in some way die, but then based on their behavior and actions, it's very clear that they also don't want to die. And so them figuring that out about each other, and both coming to that sort of joint realization that they're very similar, while at the same time it's kind of adversarial. Suguru talks about what Joe brought up about how he wanted to murder. Like, he's like, I'm gonna die anyway, so why don't I just take out all the fucking degenerates when I go down? I was like, yo, that's sick. Like, I love this guy. So yeah, Joe, what did you feel about just the overall, like, I don't know, the mystery that they've set up in the show? Because they're going right to Europe. We're going right in.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks really intriguing. I love mystery. Mystery is always going to be, for me, I mean, I love romance. I love my fantasy stuff. But mystery, like psychological mystery, thriller, those things are always going to be really cool. And so with it being supernatural, it's going to incorporate a lot of elements that should be creepy. So it'll kind of like maybe get a little thrillery at times. But the mystery is really intriguing. They flash some elements that that's kind of also what I was alluding to, like connecting the two of them. Like, it feels like there's a real reason for him to want to help, more than just like, oh, I want to live. It's even more than that. Like, he actually has a reason because of their a connection that they both have, that you'll find when you watch the first episode. That it gets set up, and they're gonna, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know how to talk about it too much without like spoiling too much. It's just, it is really interesting. Like I said, this is probably the one episode I didn't expect to like so much. In fact, I wasn't even gonna watch it until my chat was like, "No, you have to. It's so good, so good, so good, so good, so good." And then, yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, they've also told me, oh, you should watch Atelier Ryza or whatever.
Look, I'm not taking responsibility for what your chat is into or your.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, well, I mean, sometimes you guys miss, but sometimes they do hit, and I think that this was the biggest hit. This is, of everything that I'm watching, it just feels like, outside of the big ones, I like this one more than just everything. It's just so interesting. And then the other one would be, in a more realistic sense, the My Happy Marriage.
Okay.
Well, hit us up about that.
Spoiler a little bit, but basically it is very much grounded in realism. Though I will say it is a fantasy romance. So I think that maybe initially it's grounded. Yeah.
Okay.
Initially it's grounded in realism, but I guess maybe it's going to introduce these fantasy elements. I'm assuming like the person that she gets connected to is going to be like a mage or something. He stems from a family of mages or family of whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. That's just my guess because it says fantasy. But the main girl, treated like shit by her family, absolute dog shit family, horrible throughout the whole episode. You're gonna be angry the entire time. They treat her terribly, and it's like stepmom, stepsister, and like her actual dad. Actual dad treats her like shit too. A lot of it stems from, I think, the step mom. But essentially, there's this boy that she likes, and she doesn't get to be with the boy that she likes. Instead, she gets shipped off to be with some other guy. And it's kind of good because her getting shipped off means that she's not with the dog shit family.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she is now never going to be able to be with the boy that she likes. And like I said, it's very heavy romance. The animation's really well done. It's from Kinema Citrus, so made in Abyss.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Abyss Studio. Great. It's just gonna be really cool, and I like it. It's romance, and the other romance that I'm watching is the girl I like forgot her glasses, something like that. That one's also really interesting.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. But I saw it with like, it was supposed to be it's not like it's like romance alluding. Like, it's not like deliberately romance. It's supposed to be like more so slice of life.
No, I think it's heavy romance.
Oh,
it's going to be romance. It's a romantic comedy, a lot of cute shit. It's going to be a lot of cute shit. It's going to just kill you inside.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Just molasses in your body because it's so cute. I'm so excited for it. It's weird animation to start because I guess this studio Gohands, they do this where they will animate like hand-drawn characters, but in a more 3D CG world.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's like a lot of cinematography, camera angles, like doing weird stuff. But it's all hand-drawn people, which I would rather have that over the absolutely terrible hand-drawn backgrounds that look beautiful, and then you've got the brick weird. God. I hate them. Hate those things. The terrible like CG people. I'd much rather have the hand-drawn people with the CG world.
Right, or at least paint over them. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna say that this. I don't know if either of you get motion sickness. If you do, this might mess you up a little bit because it is very motion heavy, weird angles, fisheye lenses. But it's just cute. It's just really, really cute. The kid, he likes this girl that sits next to him, and one day she forgot to bring her glasses, and the whole time she's just really like squinting and like this furrowed eyebrows, and she just looks really, I don't know, just like I don't know, it's like I don't know how to say it without like, she's just really cute, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just gonna be a lot of that, her forgetting her glasses, and then what happens when you forget your glasses? Oh, you can't really see people, so you got to get close to them, or you can't really see what's on the board, so you got to.
I'm gonna violate your personal space. It's so cute.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like he's mad about it.
No,
like, shit, he's happy. So it's just really cute, and I want to see how it actually develops into more than just that, because things can get really tiring when that's all it is the cute shit. Like, it's got to be really funny on top, or just a deeper story, reasoning for things. I don't know, something more for me to really like last season with Dangers in My Heart. That was absolutely hilarious. And so I feel like that really did it, even though it was like heavily into cute stuff, just absolutely hilarious. And so that's one, but I don't know how this one's going to go with the comedy. I don't think the comedy was like really there with this one. So we'll see.
Okay.
Cool. I do want to pick like at least one romance to try. I always try like every season but I always pick like bad ones. I think that's usually.
Well, I think those are your two. You want to go for one of those. I don't think that there's really a different one that I would recommend. If you're starting from the start of a thing, then it's gonna be one of those.
No, I have to. I'm trying to branch out. I use Jordan sometimes to source stuff I normally don't watch, and it's been really good lately.
I'm watching Vending Machine.
I was gonna ask you about that
too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it. It's just a matter of I gotta get to it, but I'm watching it.
I'm surprised. I liked it.
I knew. I was like, there's no way they made an anime about this, and it isn't at least somewhat engaging, because the women weren't like overly sexual. I mean, of course they have fan service in it, clearly, but like it wasn't just like oh, they're carrying the vending machine with titties or some shit like that. Like, it wasn't crazy. So I'm like, there has to be something good about this, and I'm thinking MMO stuff, as long as he's in the area, there's like an XP share. So if he's in the area, he levels up, and as he levels up, the items that he can give the party, like I don't know. I haven't watched the episode, but I'm looking forward to it.
It actually is interesting the way that they handle all that, and
it has to be. There's no way they can get away with this.
But that's good though. At least someone thought of it, pitched it, and somebody was like, "Bitch, let's take a chance. Let's just do it. Let's just do it." Because that's what a lot of people are asking for in Hollywood. Like Hollywood, you got like remake this, remake that, blah, blah, blah. This 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like, damn, nigga, does anyone have anything new? So yeah, that's why I like things like that, because it's something different. It's something new. And if it's bad, it's bad. Iskachisco. It's bad.
Oh my God.
Did you,
absolutely. Joe, did you watch Kamikatsu at all?
Yes, I finished it.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Know why I did.
So you didn't like the ending?
Whoa, no!
I didn't like it at all. It's so... Because... it wasn't plot driven at all. Like, okay, I will say it was plot driven. There were some interesting things.
Episode 6 or 7, yeah.
But also, it was unbearably horny for me.
Oh,
like,
yes.
I just...
yes.
So, honestly, I would have... If it wasn't for the fact that I was watching it for my stream and I watched it for Patreon and stuff, I would have dropped it on the one episode when we get introduced to Dakini, her connection with the child. That's the episode I would have dropped it on.
Okay, I don't know what y'all talked about, but
I made it through
crazy.
it. I don't know how, but like, she is essentially a god of love.
Yeah.
Okay? And she like essentially takes a literal child under her wing as the god of love. Of love. A lot more than love too.
Yes. Loving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a child. And it's just like, and you know what pissed me off so much? People were like, "Oh no, what she's doing. It's more like sex ed."
No,
get the fuck out of here. That's not sex ed. Shut the fuck up. Go fuck yourself. You're wrong. Oh my God. Sometimes the people in the comments, man, I just can't fucking stand them. I just can't. But that's the one where I would have dropped it, but I just kept going. I kept going.
You would have.
That's when I dropped it from YouTube because of the comments. I didn't want to listen to these people anymore.
Oh my God. So I did want to talk about another series that I watched of the new batch that I actually enjoyed. I think I mentioned before the most, but that was because it was like I didn't know what to expect, and that was Reign of the Seven Spellblades. Now, in retrospect, when I went and checked the light novel to understand what exactly was going on, because in the first episode, I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to come away with from the first episode with a very different expectation than what this story likely is. Because my first thought, I had some notes when I was watching it, and the first thought I had was like, this is deranged Hogwarts. Like,
I saw you tweet that. I was like, oh.
I've seen a lot of sort of Hogwarts-inspired, Harry Potter-inspired world building in anime going back like over the last couple of, I guess it's been a couple of decades, right? Since the Harry Potter novels and movies really hit. Did they come, was it 2005, 2004 was the first one? I don't quite remember the first movie.
Yeah, around that time, maybe.
Right?
No,
maybe even
earlier.
Yeah, maybe the first one might have been like 2003.
That's what I felt like. It's been a couple of decades. And so there are some things, like, there have been good attempts at earnestly mining that sort of subgenre.
Oh,
you get things like,
holy shit.
Like, yeah, see, we're old. Like, what do you call it? Little Witch Academia. Like, I think for me that sort of was the peak of using those same ideas but coming up with something new to do. And there've been a whole lot, at least on the anime side, of like really bullshit, just like stolen premise, horrible execution, bad everything. The magical high school getting transported into like the Harry Potter magical high school shit is just worthless in my opinion. And then I watched the first episode blind, and I knew that there was like, I saw the outfits in like like some pictures for the previews. I was like, all right, here we go. And I was like pleasantly surprised the whole way through as to like what was going on. So the idea is that it feels like an ensemble cast, but the main character, is it like Oliver or something like that? I think his name is. I think it's hard. They do a funny thing where they don't actually introduce the main cast until like 3/4 of the way through the episode. So that was a choice. Like, you see them, they are interacting, but they don't. They literally have a sit down where everyone says, "My name is this. I am from here. This is what I do." But that doesn't happen until most of the episode is over. You have your anime protagonist guy, Oliver. He's sort of like jack of all trades dude. We find out a little bit that his one ability is he can slightly modify spells here and there. Not really sure where that's going to go, but like that's his ability. But for the most part, just a pretty like straightforward, down to earth guy. And then there's about 4 or 5 other supporting characters who all represent sort of different archetypes of your magical high school whatever. You've got the nerdy bookworm, the muscle dude who loves plants because he's a farmer. You've got like the daughter of the prestigious magical family, the kind of dopey girl who loves animals. But like within about, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes, I was kind of taken aback a little bit, because there's a conversation that they have about like the personhood of like monsters, and it gets like kind of heated, and then like, all right, we're gonna talk about that later. I was like, they're playing with some stuff here that like I wouldn't have bothered with if I was doing this concept. But I think what finally kind of turned me around, like, to enjoy what I was seeing was when they go through the very typical, like, school introduction. And up to this point, there's been, like, no fan service. You would think there would be with all, like, the magical high school girls running around. It's actually pretty, like, restrained.
No skin?
No, not really.
Not really.
No.
I mean, you see like the one girl's legs when she's running, but it's not like a sexual. You just see her legs because she's
literally like booking it right
to chest,
and she's freaking out the whole time because someone cast a funny spell on her legs to go run into this crowd of monsters that are going to kill her, which I'll get to in a minute. But the only time that they really dive into the fans, the first time, not the only time, is when the headmaster shows up, and she's like full on like Dami boob, Onesan.
Booba.
Like big booba, like just so big that she's like doing the usual like cross the chest and her breasts are like spilling over the top. But even the character design is sort of like I don't want to say they could have done a lot. They could have gone crazy. They just kind of went like crazy with a little C there. And then at the very end of the episode, there's a, mistaken nudity scene, and you're like, oh, okay. But even that is kind of like they shoot it from a distance, and kind of the point of it is not really about the
It's
fan
not
service.
about the booba.
It's not. It really isn't. And so after I got through all that, there was some little bits I won't cover here. But I went and looked up like what the light novel description was, and I was like reading through it. I was like, oh, wait a minute, this shit is gonna get pretty dark, because they don't mention it in episode 1, but there's a reason why the main character's at that academy, and it ain't to learn fucking magic. And they tell you in the first episode that like, this is not a nice place. This is a place where at least 20% of every class will be killed.
Oh,
yes, by all kinds of means, like.
But it does say like they typically die because of like magic related things. So like they fuck up, or like it mainly like they fuck up, like you fuck up a spell, or you fuck with the wrong monster, or so there are consequences. But I actually thought going into it, because I read that, I was like, wait. So there's a 20% chance I go to this school and I'm just gonna die? And be
yeah, and I'm like, why would I ever send my kids here?
Yeah, I thought it was like you are sacrificed for magic or something. That's what I thought it was. Yeah. And so it wasn't until like they explained it and I was like, oh no, they're not sacrificed for like the magic, or they die because
this shit
fucking
is dangerous.
Magic is magic.
Yeah,
dude.
what they're doing is fucking insane.
Yeah. Okay.
I
like that.
Yeah. And so the wrinkle, so all of what I just described, it would be it would still, the structure of the story is fine, and the influences are cool, but they throw a kind of a curveball very early on by introducing another character named Nanao, who is very clearly archetypically feudal Japanese. Everything else that you have seen is like right down the road with like, the Hogwarts, fucking get-ups, and they fight with like little knives instead of
wands,
everyone using
whatever.
a wand.
Yeah.
Right? But like this is a full-on female samurai, and not just like, oh cute, I'm cosplaying a samurai.
Did you watch Hell's Paradise?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's Saga.
She's literally Sagiri from Hell's Paradise.
Yeah, it's her.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And not only is she like a full-on samurai, she's a full-on samurai who fought in a war, is covered in fucking scars. She's like a child, right? But also a war veteran, like a murderer. Like the main character's like, I smell the scent of blood on this woman.
And she's completely out of place.
The scent of blood that nothing could wash off. Like that's how deep that shit is. Like, yeah.
But you spend the whole, like, basically the first 20 minutes or 18 minutes of the episode thinking that like, oh, this is just some like dopey girl from the samurai country and she doesn't know anything about magic, and she's kind of a dork and almost died because she jumped up to save somebody, and it's like, oh, this is something else is going on. And if you look, actually, like all the previews that I had seen outside of like the light novel covers, but if you just look at like the anime previews, it looks like a much darker, presenting a much like darker show. And I didn't understand where that was going to come from. But the last 5 minutes of this episode had me thinking like, oh wait, there's some other shit happening here. Some other shit. So I'm very intrigued because they have gone against type a few times. The writing's actually pretty good, by the way. I will give the writing some credit. It was not dog shit. There were some things I'm like, why do we have to have a 5-minute exposition dump right here? But it was cute because it set it up in context of people who don't know each other, like having gotten like caught up in a moment and never really got to introduce themselves. So I'm actually pleasantly like looking forward to this because I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, that one's much better than the actual dog shit ones that I'm watching. Because like I said, I watch everything. So I'm also watching Masamune and
oh yeah,
surprisingly not bad.
Okay,
Liar
good.
Liar.
Good.
I'm watching Liar Liar.
Oh, Liar Liar is decent. Okay.
No,
I didn't really like the synopsis.
It's
not great.
Not.
Oh, okay.
No. It's not great. But it's not as bad as I thought it might end up being. I don't know. It's kind of intriguing, but really, definitely not going to be like a top tier thing.
Like people aren't going to be rushing to watch it or anything.
No. I'm watching My Tiny Senpai, which is cute, but it's not going to be great. I'm watching Am I Actually the Strongest, which is not great. I'm watching.
Is that the one where it's like it's an isekai one, and he's like working in a store or something? I forgot what.
No. So he is a baby. He gets isekai'd. He's a baby. He's basically like tossed out because they check his magic levels. And it says 0-2 or something like that. But you find out it says 0-2 because they couldn't. The device that they use, the display only shows 2 digits. And so he's not 0-2. He's 1002, 1002. And like,
I know what that one is. Okay, I know. And like his sister's like one of the main characters or some shit. His sister's one of the main girls.
I think so. She's voiced by Anya.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you mean by his sister. Not from like his. I don't know if she is a main girl, but
I saw a trailer of a girl being like, "Oh, well, maybe she's like a childhood friend," but she was like, "Oh, Nisa, whatever, brother."
Yeah. I don't know. It's whatever. It literally the first episode. He is so strong that he like intimidates a, I think it was a Fafnir. I think they called it some shit like that. Basically, a big ass dog, like a flame dog, a giant flame wolf. Clifford the Big Red Flame Wolf, and in intimidating it, it kind of like wants to be his servant, and he's a baby. What do babies need in order to?
Oh my god,
live?
He's
what do they
fucking eat it. He fucking got his milk from the Fafnir's titties.
But no, it didn't happen because actually the dogs, they can't produce milk until they mate. So
wait,
she poses to a baby. She says that to a baby. It doesn't happen, but it's the fact that she said it to a baby, which is like, bro, what the fuck am I watching? She literally strips down naked and says it to a baby.
Okay, so weird. Yeah.
Oh, this country.
No. This country.
Very weird. Yeah. I'm actually surprisingly not watching more things than all that. Yeah, I mean, I
first looked at this season, I thought there was a lot I wasn't going to be interested in, and now I'm like, God damn it, here we go again.
I got 6 or 7.
Somebody said this season, like they were like, "Oh, this season easily beats spring," and
what?
That's insane. That was the most insane thing. Like, if you wanted to say like it is comparable to spring, like I would be like, okay, I mean maybe it tastes differ and like I'm okay with that, but easily beats is absolutely ridiculous. Spring was insanely stacked. I mean, we've got like the big shit up top, right? We've got Bleach, we've got Jujutsu Kaisen, we've got Mushoku Tensei, and then Zom coming in, which is really exciting and stuff. But like easily beats is a wild statement to make.
I think that and we talk about this a lot, but I usually judge a season not by what are the top shows that are doing well, but like what are those second tier productions that are able to stand out. The more of those that can do well, not just for my taste, but just in general, that tells me like it's a deep season. But like if there are mega popular series that are just gonna, however good they are, because I think this season looks great. Like for me, the stuff I'm interested in, there's a lot of good shit at the top end. But like they're gonna do what they're gonna do almost regardless of how good they are. Whereas a lot of these second tier and maybe even like third tier, shows, they have to survive on either how well they serve their particular audience, or on the force of just being like something really standing out. And I've seen a lot more of that, this year in general than in previous years. Like I'm not starved for something to watch. I'm really interested in a lot of things, and it's hard to fuck some of them up. So we'll see how bad if any of them kind of fall off the rails. But like I'm super excited. I don't know. I guess we didn't really talk about Bleach. Is there anyone besides me watching that?
I love Bleach. Yeah, I'm definitely watching it.
So there's something I liked about this first episode of the second core that aired this week, more so than I think how the first core started out, which is like, this is not this is supposed to be watched all together. Like
it is.
Okay.
And that's great. And it's one of the things that fucking annoys me about how seasons get split up and then kind of reconformed on paper. Like, oh, this is Bleach season 18. It's like, no, bro, this is just episode 14 of the first season. Like, and that's what it should be. But the production
I think they call it part 2.
Just, it's all the same. I get it. I understand. It's just how it's based on the production. But to me, this episode was written with no preamble. We're just getting right back to the shit. Mm-hmm. The first scene in this week's episode was an oblique reference to the history of Yua's, like, how he came to be. I don't remember if in the first 13 episodes they did the full story about, like, him giving his power out to all the Quincy's and then getting it back.
They mentioned it towards the end when they dealt with Ichigo's mom.
Yeah, okay,
because she was part of all that.
Right, but visually, they accomplished more storytelling in like 90 seconds with like the baby with the hands and the baby going up and then like the blue lines going down and the red lines coming back and the hands decaying. Like, I feel like that was. If you go back to the manga, there is I think there's like a panel with all like the hands raising up the baby, but there's none of that other stuff. And I felt like this was one of the first times I felt like they took a premise and added to it in a way that could only be done in the anime, and it was great. And then they spend the rest of the episode flashing between all of the disparate like folks on both sides, ending with the long scene on the Stern Ritter, like, and for the first time when you line them all up, you're like, you know what, this is a squad of bad guys that has actually like earned some like respect, some fear, because we all saw what happened in like the first core.
They
fucked Soul Society up. And then you get the lineup, the classic Bleach Kubo lineup of all the bad guys in a throne room, right? Like, it looked fucking fantastic. Then Yuwa gives his like Hitler speech. And I was like low-key laughing a little bit. I was like, it might, because if you're a manga reader, if you love Bleach, you know what the ultimate plan is and what the end goal and all the crazy shit that's gonna happen. But when you really think about it, did he have to do this? Who was this for? Not like any of these people were gonna say no to anything he wanted.
Exactly.
Right? Like, he was and by himself could clear basically the entire Soul Society period. So why have this like Sieg Zeon fucking moment? With
That's
like
exactly what it was too.
Like
it was just it was to entertain himself. Like, if I'm being, you know what I mean, if I'm being canon to the story, and it was, I guess, to announce Uryu's in charge. But like, once again, what was the purpose of all the theatrics? It was just to be fucking dramatic. You know, if you knew a person like this in real life, you would hate to be around them. Could you imagine going to dinner? He's like, ah, yes, my good friends all here at the table, and I am here to announce. You'd be like, we're at Applebee's, bro.
Derek is giving a speech again.
There we go. Fuck. Oh my god. Yeah. So it was just doing the fucking most. But I got to see one of my faves, Bambi, just like, indulge herself a little bit in this episode, So it was fun. A lot of fun. So I'm liking it. I think actually the production, it may be a little bit even better than the first core.
Oh, really?
I don't know, but I just absolutely love the way that they do the animation for this. I love the highlight and the colors and all. I love it. I saw some people say that they hated it.
Oh, no.
I can't possibly agree with that ever. I love it. I think that having these different colors just kind of like gives you a better idea of where everyone is, because they kind of like have themed things with colors. Like, oh, this is this area, this is that area, that is that area. But also it just adds more pop to it instead of it just being so fucking, like, you could just do like normal colors for everyone.
Right, it would be so flat. Everything would be flat.
Yeah, I love this. I love that it's pops of colors, and I think that maybe it's OP is my front runner for favorite OP of this season.
What?
I love the Bleach OP.
I think so this OP is the only thing I like about this OP is that they brought the fashion back. I
don't know. I think that it's fucking great. I love it so much.
The music is not hitting for me, and thus everything else is affected.
So can I think
what OP is the one for you then, Jordan?
The best OP for the season so far?
So far.
Oh, Jujutsu Kaisen season 2.
No, I think that shit is whack.
Oh my god!
I think it's fucking whack.
Wow!
Okay, no, I don't think it's whack.
What?
Okay, I'll say I think it's a B tier that's gonna grow on me over time and be an A tier. That's what I think it is. Visually amazing. I love the way it looks visually. The song does not slap.
The song does slap.
See, I love
does.
We're gonna have 3 different opinions because, like, I think I'm somehow not just in between you, but on another planet. I think that once again, Bleach has gotten 2 good songs and fucked up which one should be the OP and which one should be the ending. I think the AD is
great too.
Yeah, I think the ending should be the opening because, like, okay, this is just my read of Bleach being a fan. I think Bleach, as presentation goes, does 2 things, especially as it's like gone on for many years. You have like the sort of poppy, upbeat, kind of like guitar riff, sort of like theming for a season, which is established by an opening like bop, but normally it has to be aggressive, right? And then the ending is where you pull in your nostalgia, your sort of melancholy, like those feelings. And both of the songs, like for this season, are great. But I think that like
standing there, yeah.
But I think like the ending song should actually be the opening because it's the one that has the sort of feeling of aggression and a little bit of like edge and a little bit of danger. And then the opening is the one that's sort of more playful and nostalgic and, you know, like, because the opening, the
it doesn't give me shonen opening. The reason
I like it is because of the nostalgia. I love the early Bleach OPs.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
So much.
Yes,
they're
me
literally,
too, by the way.
Literally. After people are gonna like this.
It's the aesthetic of it. It's not the song. The song doesn't match.
You think the song doesn't match the actual visuals?
I think the visuals match like a Bleach opening, but what James was saying.
Honestly, what I get like heavy vibes of with the OP is like Quentin Tarantino. I think it's more because of the actual text for the
credits and stuff.
The credit text. Maybe that's what it is for me. But I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. There's something about it that just resonates with me, and it does give me that old Bleach vibe. And my favorite. Literally, I don't think there's a single OP after maybe the 6th one, if that far. It might be like 3 or 4. Except for the one from the lady that did the first Brotherhood OP. I love that one as well. But outside of that one, it's all early ones. All early ones. Like the first 3 or 4 OPs, absolutely beautiful for Bleach, in my opinion. I don't like anything after.
What?
There are how many total? Is it like 12 or 13?
For me, Bleach is heavy nostalgia. It's literally like my first anime. I want to say Bleach or Naruto is my first anime.
What? Wait, but I mean, the arc itself sucked ass. But like the OP,
the arc itself, not great. Yeah. Especially rewatching it. Soul Society is like peak Bleach for me.
Because Soul Society is the only arc that he ever wrote. He wrote it like 5 times. Like there's so many arcs that are just the Soul Society arc in the same thing.
Yeah. But the Full Bringers. The Full Bringer arc. That opening. Oh my god, it was Homeboy singing it. Wow. I mean, the arc itself was trash, but like that OP was so good. The ones that I remember, so
there's the first
and wait. You did like Alones?
I don't. You have to show me the song. Probably
the one where Cone is singing the solo in the beginning.
I initially did not like it, but it did grow on me after like maybe listening to it just 2 more times more recently, and I was like, okay, this is
okay.
I think that's
so.
That's
I'll say that
7.
one.
No, that's season 7 though.
I don't know. Yeah, it's still early. It's still
that's
really,
early.
really
that's
early.
Super early.
Yeah, it's all of it's way early. I don't like anything from Hueco Mundo or beyond. I actually like the 1,000-Year Blood War first OP and the second. I love the second one the most.
We have not talked about this. So I had the same complaint last time.
This should be part of the stream because we can.
You know that in episode 1 of 1,000-Year Blood War arc, they had like a special
oh
ending.
Yeah.
Once again, I was like, this should be the opening. I like the opening.
Guess what that guy's singing now?
What's he singing?
The opening of Jujutsu Kaisen season 2.
They're all true.
I don't know.
But
I
no,
like the first OP
shoot...
for Jujutsu Kaisen the most.
I want to shoot Joe some bail though, because I do think that like if I go back and think of like what are my favorite like Bleach openings, you're right. Most of them are pre-season 10, and there were like 16 seasons. The last one I really liked was Velonica. Like I loved fucking Velonica, but that's the same thing. It's the same group. Aqua Times did Velonica as well. So like the ones that came afterwards, there was just something that didn't fully hit for me either. But as far as I want to mention about music, because I don't want to get off of music and Bleach, there is one thing that I do not totally love, which is that in the first core, they have a remix of The Precipice of Darkness, the orchestral version, which I think is fucking fantastic. They only use it 2 times in the whole season, and frankly, I really feel like that still needs to be the overworld overriding theme for most episodes of Bleach. I think they need to bring that much more deeply into the sonic sort of catalog of a particular episode, because there's nothing more nostalgic for the first half of Bleach, like the first run, than Precipice of Darkness. Precipice of Darkness is like, I don't know
Which
how
one's
you have
Precipice of Darkness.
It's the one with the kind of screechy violin sound. Where it's
okay. Yeah.
And they have an orchestral version that they use a couple of times in like the second season, but it's because it's so fucking moody. It's like it's this like kind of a little bit grating but ominous, like slowly building, like tense piece of music with like strings and everything else, and then we put an orchestra behind it, it feels big. It feels like, fuck, I'm getting like enveloped by this like Reiatsu feeling of like, oh shit, like everything is bad, there's powerful people everywhere, we're all gonna get fucked up and die. And that's the vibe all the way for this 1,000
the entire first core. I haven't read any, so I don't know. But the entire first core was that.
And it definitely, I mean, doesn't listen, by the end of this episode, if you see the end of the episode, like we're getting right into the ultra bullshit.
It's just gonna be more of the same.
Right. And so when I was watching that episode, the one thing that I missed, I was like, why isn't this episode at least ending on the Precipice of Darkness? Like, like, where is that? Like, because that would make this all come full circle. You've got Uryu with Yawas, like, on top of the building. Soul Society gets, like, fully invaded. You've overlaid, like, the Sternritter, like, castle and everything else on top of the area they're in. You know shit's about to go real fucking bad. Like, like... I was ready for it, and they never hit that song. They were doing some other things. They have like this sort of like background like dramatic theme. It's not really loud, but I was like, what? That's Bleach to me. Bleach is like constant scenes of like really powerful people in the air staring down at something, and those strings playing. If it was Grimjaw, Ulquiorra, any of the original captains when they showed up in the first, like that was always the way to go, and they've just decided to go in a different direction. And I was kind of bummed because it's episode 1 of the 1,000-Year Blood War, like the first core. They brought that theme back, like right when the Ichigo confronts the like souped up hollows on top of the building to save those Soul Shinigami. They play that song, and it's like that's where the gang comes back. Like, everybody's there. The gang's all here. So that was my one complaint. But I do think that like I like both the opening and the ending for the season. I just would switch them. I would switch them, and I would cut out the first riff in the ending because it's kind of like disconcerting, and go right into the guitar. And like to me, oh man, like that would have held it, and then take the entire opening with the animation and stick that at the end because it's fucking awesome. And like that's the palate cleanser where you're reminded like, oh, this is all the cool stuff you loved about Bleach, and it's playful, and like you got all these characters dressing up as like new characters in their own little world that only lives in that ending. But again, they went their own way, so what can I do?
I'm sorry, but I just went through like Bleach open, like no, like
the first 3
Ranbu no Melody, fucking Harukaze. Like Harukaze was so fucking good. It was my Scandal.
So there's I didn't watch
Kaze
Bleach.
is okay. I like
I
it.
watched
Kaze
Bleach
is
as
great.
it aired. I want to say after like episode 60 or 70, I watched Bleach as it aired in Japan. Like my dad would download them when I was a kid. Up until the Zanpakuto arc, when the filler arc,
the full on filler arc,
yeah, personified for like a fucking year.
Yeah,
that's when I
odd.
stopped because like I got like 25 episodes into it or something, and it was still going. And like, how did a half a year go by and there's nothing else? So that shit pissed me off, especially because it literally is like right after the one Ukiura fight, not like the peak one, but like the first one, which is like, oh my god. So all of the OPs from there on, I don't have any sort of nostalgia for at all.
I mean, that makes sense. I can understand.
I've only listened to them one time when I reacted to them, and I think there was one or two after maybe the 10th. Yeah, from the 10th to the 17th, there's maybe one or two that I was like, oh, these are pretty good. But like for me, the first three, the 5th and the 6th are peak Bleach OPs for me.
Okay. I mean, I'm with that. No, I kind of buy it. There are a few that I like, but most of them are from the earlier part. But absolutely, for me, Veronica was altogether my favorite of all of them, and that's like right smack in the middle. I don't know if it was like season. I don't know if that was like season like 8 or 9, but somewhere there. And now the funny part is like the actual like arc that was happening at that time was also like not everybody's peak, but I just like Veronica. I just like that song. I think the song is great.
For me, my favorite I think is Ichiri no Hana. I can see that. Just nostalgia wise, I used to literally on my little MP3 player in middle school, I'd be on the bus playing that shit. Oh, yeah. I loved it so much. I mean, those are good.
Those people were eating good during that period though.
So good.
Because that was like, was that still the first Soul Society?
It was. I think it was like maybe right around the time. I want to say maybe right near the Kenpachi when he first meets Kenpachi.
Back when captains were intimidating. You're like,
back in the day.
Back in the day, man. I used to get my life off of them, and then. When you go through enough arcs where they don't do anything, you're like, man, just show me the Bankai. Let's get it going.
Every time somebody like hits a second form in every anime now, it's always Bankai for me.
Yeah, but no, I buy it.
It's always Bankai.
It is.
I love it.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know, but that I love that OP. I don't know why we're talking about. I don't know how we got to OPs, but I think I brought it up because I just love the OP, and then
Jordan, the favorite OP of this season.
I don't really have one other than like the JJK one or maybe Bleach. I don't know.
Also, the Undead Murder Farce.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's like it's really
pretty good.
When you watch it, you're like, what kind of show am I getting? Because it's like it's the kind of thing that you would see in a much more traditional like shonen, like and the character. I was like,
he was great.
I was getting into the show immediately because I'm like, oh, here's these cool characters we're eventually gonna meet, and then it kind of like took a different turn. I'm like, I really like this. I'm cool with this. So yeah, that's really cool. So what do we have left? We've covered things that we're watching. Do we have any news?
Kevin Penkin is scoring the Apothecary Diaries, so that's good.
I mean, I have something to listen to at least. I don't know if I'll be watching it.
Speaking of, we haven't heard anything about fucking Tower of God season 2,
except that it exists.
Isn't he doing what's the other thing he's doing coming soon? It's like a big thing. Kevin Penkin's doing something big.
He's doing Spice and Wolf.
That's what it is.
Oh,
Spice and Wolf.
Okay.
I love Spice and Wolf, but I'm really worried because I have such a deep nostalgia for the OP EDs for Spice and Wolf. Mm-hmm. Just for whatever reasons, and I would love for them to just bring him back. I love the OPs and EDs, and I would love for Kevin Penkin to do the OST. Like, I'm cool with that, but can we just get the same things back, please? Like, they're so good, classic.
I have only seen a little bit of Spice and Wolf. I
haven't seen it all.
I only watched it recently because I watched it like maybe around this time last year because it won on Patreon. It was the poll winner, so I watched all of it, and it's just really good world building. It's really interesting. It's not like most of the fantasy shit. There's not like, oh, crazy magic type shit. No. It's all like very trade, the world, economics, the dynamic between the two, a romance there, and it's I love it. It's so good. But it's not going to be like, I don't think it's going to be like a big thing that a lot of people are heavily interested in, because it's not fucking Bleach, you know? It's not like big fighting scenes. It's not like Eminence and Shadow, I Am Atomic. No,
right.
Like, yeah, it's just going to be very like chill but interesting. And the dialogue between them is also really great. Between Hollow and Lawrence is just great. Great dialogue.
I know maybe like a sideways kind of question there, because like I think of these days I pride myself on being completely disconnected from the broader like anime community, whatever that is, even though I have a lot of like friends who actually work in some sense in some parts of the business. Like I tend to like not notice like what gets over, but like you kind of we everyone here, we made the same implication in this conversation about how there are shows where like there's somebody on it, like either it's like a producer, director, a writer, a studio that's animating it, or a music director or something, where it's like, okay,
or voice actor,
right? Like, okay, for me, like this is a hit just because this person is involved.
So true.
But like in the last, let's just maybe keep it to like the last year. Has that actually like translated into some series that isn't already big getting big? Because the only thing I can remember was like obviously like Dress Up Darling was already kind of had a lot going for it, but I think wasn't there like the VA for the main girl, I forget what her name is, wasn't she like her involvement before the thing got started something that like had a lot of people like, oh, I want to see the show even if they're not like into what is effectively like cosplay and fan service? Like, are there other examples of like shows that like really did just get over because of who was involved with the name?
Tengoku, Heavenly Delusion.
Okay.
Production
who
IG.
was involved?
Well, yeah,
yeah.
I heard about it because of that part. Yeah,
I would have literally not paid any attention to it.
Really?
And then I saw Production IG and I was like, okay, maybe I'll look at a trailer for this. And the trailer was amazing.
Yeah, that was kind of what happened to me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good staff, good all that. So that, I want to say maybe that. But
like could the music alone carry a very mid show to actual like notoriety or success? Like, I don't know if
We've talked about this before. I can't remember what show it was though. Shit.
Like, I think I would probably like, as just a personal fan, if like I don't know, Sawano was on some really wacky show, I'd probably watch it, at least some of it, just to hear the music. But as soon as that OSC dropped on like Twitter or YouTube, I'm like, all right, I don't gotta watch this shit. Like I watched Team Medical Dragon literally because he did the score.
Because of Sawano, yeah.
But I'm like trying to think, are there like an example of like I feel like the music.
You mean like a B tier show? Like,
yeah, like something that's not
like
already
huge.
gonna get over because of other reasons, but like it's carried by a voice actor, or like just the fact that the studio's name is on it, not necessarily because like it was already anticipated to like look good. I don't see that, but the way people talk about some of these things, you would think that there would be a lot more like solid examples. And I really can't think of any.
I think my biggest issue here is I don't know a lot. Okay. No. I don't know. I don't know enough big
RWBY.
Ruby. Ruby. Oh, you made
I don't
me
know
right.
enough staff people.
Well, because of one staff person who is no longer here, but
for Ruby,
yeah, like
and stuff. But.
Yeah, probably just that. That's actually good.
I'm saying like in general, I don't know like oh, this guy's amazing. His Sakuga key animation is incredible.
Exactly. But
I know that
that elsewhere.
There are definitely people that are like that.
Oh yeah,
when
they're
it comes to
all
anime.
over Twitter. Yeah, they only care like getting the mecha. Like that's his whole thing.
I don't know.
But that's my point. Like, I see this statement, but I don't necessarily see it like backed up in reality. I think like because I'm not in these spaces, but there are folks who really popularize like the auteurship as like a real driver of interest. But I think that interest only exists in the communities that already care about auteurship, which they're not big. Because it kind of blows my mind when I go and think back, like okay, think to yourself for a minute. There have been manga.
Wait, something that was big, but like, or something that people were excited, something that was B tier that people were excited for that ended up being trash because of a name linked to it. Is that
the other way? Do it the other way.
Yeah, he's doing it the other way.
Wait. Okay, I mixed it up then. Wait,
I meant like something.
No,
that's
so
like,
something that has like a name linked to it it's not a super popular thing. So it's more like B tier.
Yeah.
And
that brought it to notoriety.
Because
the name brought it up, not the actual.
It made it more popular because of this person being attached. I don't know.
I saw Tribe 9 and got so excited. I was like, yeah, that was shit.
Yeah, that was different. That's the opposite example.
I don't know how. I don't know. I want to say that I probably would not have been as invested in watching. No, I can't say that because I watched the first episode and I was like, oh, this is just really cool. But I was going to say Uncle from Another World, just seeing Takehito Koyasu voicing the uncle.
Right. See,
is really cool.
That example, I feel like, is overrepresented in sort of the discussion sphere because people know a lot about who is making these series. And so if I could say that there are music directors on anime that I follow. Like I want to see what they make next. I'm interested because of them. Like 86 is what it is, but I was interested in 86 because Sawano was on it.
Yeah, because
86 is holy god. Yeah, the OST. I don't follow like music people, so like I don't know. I know I've heard Sawano like the name so many times, but like I don't really follow names of like people that do these things. I think for me it's usually studio.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's usually studio. So even something that's like really low, I'll be like, I like, for example, in this season, there's this thing called AI no Idenshi, and it's Madhouse. And so I'm like, man, maybe
is that the
I'll
one that has
it.
like the CG? Is that?
I don't know. I think I watched a trailer for it. I don't think it has CG, but it's like, I don't think the trailer really hooked me, though. Other people were like, oh, the trailer's really cool. I don't.
Right. Well, like for me,
like it's because of the with studio with Ranking of Kings. I don't think people gave a shit about Ranking of Kings, and then they saw, oh, with studio, I guess we'll watch it, and then it's just amazing. So I don't know, maybe that's
it's because in my life, again, I'm a weirdo, so the things I follow are like it's just specific information, but like I will once every 6 months check like the credits to see like what has Yutaka Nakamura worked on like key animation or something. Like I want to know because like that shit's good. The closest I will get to like uplifting something that in my own head that's mid to a must-watch status for me is like maybe Gen Orobuchi like wrote it because I know it's going to be insane and a lot of people will die. Like that, like I could get that much of a promise out of it. But other than
what did that person do?
Guilty
my
Crown.
God. Oh my God. Oh, that motherfucker.
Let me put it this way. His nickname is the Oro Butcher. So you can kind of, but he also wrote like Thunderbolt Fantasy, which is like a Taiwanese puppet, like physical puppets, martial arts action series. And it's one of those brutal fucking things you'll ever see. Like I cannot do justice to how fucking ridiculous Thunderbolt Fantasy is. I love it. I love it with all of my heart. The first episode, if you watch the first episode and you are not hooked, then just, we are not sharing a wavelength, because when you see a fucking puppet blow the ribs out the back of another puppet with like full blood spray and like bones coming out, like if that doesn't turn you on, then I don't know.
It'd be crazy.
When I bring that up is that you get this sort of feeling. Joe, I like your sort of observation that for you it's like studio, but what this all comes down to is like a promise. Like I see this name, so I have some idea of what I'm gonna get when I open this thing up that they've done, right? or whether it's a writer or a musical director or a voice actor, Seiyu. But I don't know if that really moves people. Even like the studio thing, like Mappa does have a name, but like, did the name really like benefit some of the shows that they've done in the last 3 years any more than the actual like IP itself? I want
to say it's usually the IP.
Yeah,
I think that it's
they're getting really good IPs.
Studio is enough for somebody to be like, oh, that studio's doing this? Okay, I'll check it out. But it's gonna be big anyways because, I mean, it's good. So like, yeah, you check it out. Other people are going to check it out because everyone's not going to be like, oh yeah, dude, there's this new anime by Mappa.
Right.
They're going to say, oh, there's this new anime. And it's really fucking good.
Right. Whereas here,
it's because of the,
like in the US, like movies are sold on the base of literally one actor.
An actor.
Being in that movie.
Or a director.
Or a director. Yeah. Like, I don't know if this is like anime adjacent, but who is it? Is it Guy Ritchie? Like, so Guy Ritchie's directed a lot of movies. I think the last one I saw, which I did not enjoy, was the King Arthur thing that they did.
Last one I saw from him, I think, was The Gentleman.
Okay.
The one with Matthew McConaughey as the
right. So like, I will walk into a movie theater and they will plaster Guy Ritchie's Kava, the movie. And I'm like, that is done because there are people who are just going to see whatever piece of shit this is because of his name. But I don't, and then there's this pretense on like the anime side that there are similar like anime celebrities that are going to drive attention. I don't really think there are. Like that's kind of my takeaway in general, is like the shows kind of have to stand on their own for something. Even if the show sucks, it has to give people something they really want, like ass and titties. If it's like, I need ass and titties, this show gives it to me. I don't care if the writing is trash. I don't care if like the voice actors don't give a fuck. I don't care if the animation is spotty. As long as those big old boobs flop onto my screen at the right time, I'm gonna put it over. I'm gonna get all my friends to watch that shit. Like how Demon Slayer didn't pop off until episode 18.
I watched it from episode 1.
I loved it. Yeah, I
watched
read
it from
Demon Slayer.
episode 1, and like,
Mm.
you're right. Nobody watched it. I think it was episode 19.
Was it 19?
It
was 19.
Yeah, people didn't
19.
watch it until that. You're right. It wasn't the most amazing thing ever
until that scene came out. Yeah,
but like, I thought it was good from the beginning.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was great. Yeah. But that's my point. Is like I noticed this, and I'm like, am I going crazy? Like, who are these people pretending that like, oh, this voice actor is gonna do this? Oh, we're gonna no. Like,
yeah,
it's not what does it. So
that's 100% true.
I'm on my horse about some of that.
That's kind of interesting because you're right. Like in Hollywood, it's very much star driven. It's
very much.
Quentin Tarantino's making a new movie, or Tom Cruise is in a new movie, or sometimes it's like just a franchise. Oh, there's a new James Bond movie, or you know what I'm saying? So it's like, oftentimes that's how it is. It's usually the actor. It's like, oh my God, there's that new movie that I don't know, Chris Hemsworth is gonna be in or something,
Exactly.
And then people want to watch it because of that.
Yeah,
kind of interesting.
It's a weird difference. I really started thinking about it maybe a couple months ago when Yakitori came out on Netflix, which is that sort of CGI anime that is written by the same author of Tanya the Evil. And so
yeah.
Right, and I remember finding that out kind of like after the fact. Like I already said I was gonna like give it a shot. It's an interesting anime, by the way. I actually do recommend it. It's but if you don't like hyper violence and a lot of like commentary on economic structures, then I would just stay away because it's not for you. But I really like Tanya the Evil. I really, really enjoy it.
I liked it too.
It's so good.
And they never actually sold that Yakitori on the basis of the author, which to me would have been the only reason I think anyone would really check it out, because Netflix does such a horrible job of promoting its like original anime.
Absolutely
like
terrible,
just dog shit. And I'm like, they didn't do anything, and I had to find that out like after the fact. But I started thinking about like, if I had been told up front, like maybe I would go see it, or I would like, click over and see something. Would anybody else like would large numbers of people be like, oh yeah, that's the guy behind that other show I like, I'm gonna go read? No, I don't think that really happens. So
speaking of Netflix not promoting things, they killed, I don't know if you guys have seen Romantic Killer.
No.
Yeah, I've seen Romantic Killer. It's so good.
It's a rom-com, really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
It just nobody watched it because there was no promotion. They just dropped it all batch, and
they announced it like 2 months before it dropped, and then they did like 2 trailers, and that was it. Like they didn't.
I watched it like 6 months after it came out, or like 4 months after it came out, and I was like, "Damn, this is really good."
Yeah,
but
yeah. Now you got me thinking.
And it had what's her name? Rie
Takahashi.
Yeah, as the main voice.
Yeah, it was really good, and I really liked what they did with the heroine. Like, I really like what they did with her. I like what they did with the main lead male, and like how it wasn't just like, damn, everybody's down bad and they want to fuck so bad. Oh my god, it was a very like realistic progression of events, and even to what happened in the final episode. But apparently, the source material stopped. So,
based on something.
Yeah, it was based on something, but it was good. It was good. Yeah. But yeah, they didn't advertise that at all.
I mean, like, now you got me on another thing, because they're actually, with like some very big outliers, like Record of Ragnarok and a couple others, which don't need to
they
be named.
really promote the fuck out of Record of Ragnarok.
I can't even get past the 3rd episode.
I don't remember how much I watched of it, but I didn't watch a lot of it.
You didn't need to. I would just like leave. Just
I have volumes of it. I think somewhere
because the manga's great. But what my point was that, like, outside of a few that I can remember that were not good and were very well promoted, I've actually liked almost all of what you would qualify as Netflix's original productions, i.e., anything they were on the production committee for. So
My Happy Marriage, by the way, I'm just saying, My Happy Marriage, Netflix, and it's actually a good one.
Like, I think, for example, I always put over Agretzko as maybe one of the best gateway series I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh yeah,
cartoon to anime.
Like for a person anyone who's not an express anime fan, that is a fucking perfect show, because there's a lot of seasons now. The episodes are very short. The topics are relatable. The characters are cute. But the commentary is very punchy. It's easy to identify everything you're looking at on screen. There's not really a lot of like anime specific tropes in the construction of the writing, where you don't need to be like someone who understands anime to understand the method of storytelling. But like, do they promote Agretzko anywhere that you would ever see? Absolutely not. Other stuff that like was just like pretty good. Be the Beginning, especially the first season, pretty fucking good. It's actually like, when I watched it, I was like, make more of this. This is good. The Grappler Baki adaptation, some people were like weird about it when it came out. Now I think in general, folks like, yo, this shit's fucking crazy. Great Pretenders, they were on the production committee for. Even some of the stuff even some of the stuff that is like quasi anime, like the Pacific Rim series, Castlevania. I didn't really like Blood of Zeus.
Castlevania.
Yeah, I didn't really like Blood of Zeus very much. Are really good. And on top of that, they have like pulled up some series that I never would have thought would ever see the light of day. The Blame OVA. Like, holy shit. Great. It's different than what you expect, but it's very well put together. Same for Spriggan, where they went directly to the manga source material, so it's like a better captures what that series really was, rather than the movie, which was like one of my favorite anime experiences when I was growing up, is finding the Spriggan movie, because holy shit, like, that shit it's amazing even now. But like, all this stuff, there are big names attached to these, major studios attached to them. A lot of money got spent on making it, and then they're like, yeah, fuck it, we're not gonna promote this. Like, who fucking cares, right? It's not like it's a huge division we spent like 4 years building up, but whatever. So, I don't know, on my high horse about that one. They also did bankroll the Yasuke anime, which sucked ass. So
I watched one episode and then knew I wasn't watching.
It's just
when you got to the end and it was like, all right, so samurais and magic, and
there was a lot that they could have done.
Just like, know that it did not follow through on anything.
No, nothing.
Follow through on anything.
Any of those ideas by themselves
and
were
they got fucking I
Madhouse?
forget his name. Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh yeah, that was their big get.
Oh my god,
they got
dirty
Lakeith.
Fingernail one.
They got Lakeith. That was their get. I'm like, what could they need to like write something better? But that is what it is. So I don't know. I just see these things sometimes and it just like, it re-bothers me. Like, I was mad about it, I forgot about it, I see it again, I'm like, god damn it. Wasted potential. Okay, I don't really have a lot else in the way of news. So
Tact Opus, the anime, is not getting more.
Not getting
Remember
more.
how it was a mixed media project?
Yes.
It was a game, yeah.
The game came out.
Oh.
Bombing in the US.
Oh no.
Not surprised.
Absolutely bombing. Like, how many years has it been? Exactly, you didn't know, because they didn't even really bother. Let me see this shit. When did Tact Op come out?
Not last year, fall the year before.
Fall 2021.
I want to say.
It took them 2 years, damn near, to get the game out. And yeah, like, I follow gacha on like Reddit and like all kinds of stuff like that. And I've been getting advertisement for it because, you know, I play gacha games, but I'm looking at the reception and it's a no. Now, I don't know how it is over in Japan, but it's doing horribly over here, like globally. So yeah, they dropped that ball fucking immensely.
Oh shit, I didn't realize, because I think we talked about it when it got announced. I was like, what a perfect idea. What is that series? It's like they're summoning these generally very attractive women who turn into like music related weapons. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah
And
it was entertaining. The Sakuga was great.
Yes.
You know, Madhouse and Mappa.
Oh well.
Yeah,
I did actually see another thing. I just did jog my memory because all the Anime Expo stuff is like just overwhelming. But a series is actually getting made that I am shocked but not shocked, which is Rebuild World. Is getting an anime. I never read the light novel, but there's a manga adaptation that would release like monthly that I would follow. I don't know if the anime will be good, but there's one character or two characters that if they just do some key animation for them, they don't have to worry about money for the rest of their lives. Because there's a character who literally stores she has like a nanosuit and stores all of the power in her breasts. So what's that drop?
On brand.
I think they'll be fine. But I was shocked a little bit to see it getting made because I kind of lost track of the manga. But I bet you those light novel sales were going ham. It's also very bloody too. Like, people get blown away in the shit. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Like in a hail of gunfire and bits of body parts.
You guys got to make sure you bring me back for the preview of next season. Lots of cool stuff coming.
Oh
next
yeah,
for
yeah.
Next season. Oh.
Yep. There's some good shit.
I haven't even looked at that yet, and I probably won't until what, like late August.
Joe, I have a question before we move over, I guess, to some recommendations. So you had mentioned in the beginning that you had deliberately caught up on One Piece and now you're a converted fan. And specifically that
I'm trying to catch up.
Or in the process. I mean, listen, it's 1,000 fucking episodes like that. Yes.
Yeah, it'll be a year or so.
I'm going to hit probably by the middle of this month, I'll be at like 325-ish. So that means 600 in a year. Mm-hmm. So I'll be caught up by the end of next year, which is pretty good.
So here's the $1 million question, since I cannot have this experience, but you just did. So everybody who is an apologist for this series always is confronted with, where should a new viewer start? And I know the consensus is around episode 150. And as someone who
you have to start with the beginning, but ideally you don't. I don't know.
So my question is, having watched the first 300 episodes and getting to where you're at with the sort of triumphant stuff at Water 7, in your opinion, had you skipped basically everything through the end of Arlong Park, right, and Skypiea, right?
You can totally skip. The only thing that's important from Skypiea is the
poneglyph thing at the end.
The poneglyph thing, that's really important. The dials, because you're probably going to be wondering, like, if you watch everything before Skypiea and then after, you're like, wait, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. Wait, what are these dial things? Where do they come from? And then it sets up the Klabaltaman for the ship. That's it.
So
that's literally it. Like, nothing else from Skypiea matters at all. But I don't think you can skip over things. The problem is there needs to be in my opinion, because I don't think the beginning of One Piece. So many people are like, "Oh no, the beginning of One Piece is amazing. You're crazy," and they're fucking idiots.
I would not use the word amazing.
Yeah,
no, dude, there are idiots out there that think like, "Oh no, you can't possibly." Every single episode
the people
of One
who
Piece
assign
is
their
great.
personalities to
One
worst.
Piece.
Yeah.
But like you can't skip. There are so many things introduced early on that you just can't skip over. But I personally think that you can probably summarize everything prior to Arlong in 10 episodes, if that, and then you can do Arlong in probably like 3 or 4, and then you can do Chopper's, I forgot what Drum Island in like 3 or 4. You can do
Chopper's went on for a while.
Alabasta in 10 maybe, and then you have like 150, and then like that's it. Like I don't know. And then you can skip over all of Skypiea if you really wanted to. I mean, I like Skypiea as an arc itself. I think it's really interesting. And it hit me with, that was the first one. I want to say that's the first arc where I was like, no. When we find out that the island got blasted up in sky. I personally, like I did not expect to when they go through the forest and they see the other half of the house, I was like, that's fucking crazy. That's so cool. But so I mean, like you could skip Skypiea if you wanted to, and then right after Skypiea is essentially the Water 7 stuff, and you can honestly cut down a lot of the early Water 7 stuff into like 4 or 5 episodes if you wanted. Can't skip the Aokiji thing because that was amazing. That was honestly my favorite episode. Up to that point was when we kind of like have that moment where he's like shitting on Robin, how she like abandons everyone, and also, hey, by the way, Luffy, I know your grandpa. It's like, what the fuck? Like there's so many cool moments in that. And then after that, you have Water 7 easily is the best arc that I've seen up to this point. Easily. Like it's not even close. Nothing even, Alabasta's dog shit compared to it. Like nothing even comes close. Water 7's so amazing.
It's general consensus.
That's my opinion. I don't know. Just because it's that good. Not that Alabasta itself is bad. Yeah. It's just nothing like Water 7. Water 7 is so good.
It's just getting better.
It's just so good. Yeah, and I imagine each arc will do that. Man, there's probably going to be like... I was going to say, there's probably going to be like 3 or 4 arcs that are like, okay, why do we have to watch these? Yeah. But also, I think that in general, it's just going to continue to improve, and I'm excited for what's to come.
I'm always like...
I don't think you can.
I'm fascinated by the conversation because the way that I consumed One Piece as a literal fucking anime boomer is so much different than even someone who knew nothing about the series but was recommended into it or forced into it by just engaging with the fandom. Because my memory of watching One Piece was not about like, oh, well, which arc sucks more and I should skip it, or like what are the highest heights that you can possibly reach. My memory of One Piece is this sort of like escalating
world.
Yeah, not just a world though. It's the theme of One Piece that is never really talked about enough as a reason why you should watch it is that it's got this whole underlying philosophy of self-sacrifice for the greater good. Like that's what the philosophy of the storytelling over 1,000 episodes is. And whether it's it may not be on an episode by episode basis, but on like a storyline by storyline basis, what you learn is that every single major character that the Oda and the show invest your time in, all will show you a new depth of self-sacrifice that ramps up like the emotional connection between them and everybody else in that story. And that's what it delivers every time. And sometimes it doesn't like get to a certain height, or sometimes you don't give a shit about like a certain character, or like they're in a space that's like not that interesting. And that totally, I'm like, yeah, by all means, if that's boring, then call it boring and like move on. But like my experience of watching that show wasn't looking for the stuff I need to skip. It was always like being amazed that just when I thought I wasn't really as into something as I was before, that somehow within the context of just the story, I'm like, oh shit, this is better than anything that I've seen before. I didn't know we could get here. I didn't know we could get here. I didn't know we could get here. And kind of those dips were important because they let the author trick you again into thinking like, well, you know, it's whatever. And then you get a moment like, for me, it was like all the guys standing on the tower in the middle of Eni's lobby. Like, you're like, oh shit, it could actually be cool. Like, I didn't know how cool
that was a cool moment for sure.
Yeah, like, but I didn't think that, like, at the time I was watching it, like, I would get that thing to be so cool at that moment. And I was like, man, now I want more. And then we do all the stuff with, like, you know, the CP, CP9 at that time. And I was about to, I was careful because I didn't want to give something away. I was like,
you're like, don't say CP10, don't say CP10.
I'm not gonna say anything. CP9. And I was like, oh, these are like really cool. These powers are like weird, and I loved like everything there. And then you get for me again, the Rob Lucci moment, which is when I think a lot of people really, I think that's 300 episodes that cemented the series. Yeah, right. But like,
which is crazy that like I like low key subscribe to that same thing where it's like, you know, you gotta give it like 227 episodes and like trust me, it's so good.
I think it's much easier for people who ain't got shit to do to get into it, because that's how I got into Naruto. I got into it when I was like in high school, and someone gave me all the DVDs with the subs way beyond what like American television had, and all I had was time to just come home and just bang out like 10-12 episodes like every fucking night. And I was just like, I'm not going anywhere. Like I was like, I don't want to go play with you. I don't want to play with you niggas. I'm watching this shit. And then I did the same thing with One Piece, where I didn't know that when One Piece stopped airing on American television, I was like, damn, I like that show. Damn, and they canceled it. Nah, Japan kept going. And when I got to college, they were airing Enos Lobby. So I was like 200 plus episodes behind. I was like, well, guess what, nigga? All I got is time. Let's get caught up. And that was all I did for my freshman year of undergrad. I literally ate, went to class, did my shit, and I was just in my dorm, in my bed. One Piece. So
this is the impossible question. The impossible question is, had you not watched what you watched, Joe, would you really have cared that much when you got to the moment where you're like, I actually like this show?
No, I mean, that's a big part of it. Like, yeah, you can't, you have to watch. That's why you have to watch it all. But I will say it could be summarized. There's a lot of stuff that could be cut out. The pace is terrible.
I still recommend people read up to a certain point and then start watching.
Sure, yeah. I mean, read everything prior to it not being in widescreen, because that full screen shit is ugly. But honestly, you could summarize the first 300 episodes. It could be cut down, like if somebody re-edited it, which is kind of like One Piece. That's like a real thing.
Yeah.
You could probably turn the first 300 episodes into 100.
That's probably, I agree with that. That I definitely.
Yeah.
So let me then let's just, I'm gonna move a little slightly to the side of this, which is, so it's highly likely that everyone on this call will live long enough for One Piece to end.
We're so much younger than Oda.
Either Oda will die.
But it's supposed to end in this new arc.
Yes. How long will that arc last?
It's the second half of the ending.
Yeah. So, but
was Wano supposed to be the first half of the ending?
That we're gonna
everything from is it everything from Dressrosa? Was the first half?
That's the first time you said that. Yes.
So everything from Dressrosa to the end of Wano.
What episode is that?
Was
Dressrosa?
7 something.
6?
7.
Okay,
yeah, 7 something. So that's supposed to be like the first half of the ending, I guess, up to Wano, because he said after Wano, this is like we're headed towards the end, like for sure.
It feels that way. It kind of feels that way. But I'm just saying, let's just stipulate that we will live to see the end of.
I think it'll end in the next 10 years.
Yeah, manga. Okay.
10.
So that also means that we'll probably live long enough for this IP to be so valuable that it will be impossible not to remake it?
It will be Dragon Ball all over again. It would be Dragon Ball all over again.
So what is One Piece Super? I think that's my question.
One Piece Kai.
One Piece
cut that
Kai,
shit down.
Would you, if they do a remastered version where they really do go back, they don't summarize, but they I don't know, redraw large parts of the early bits of One Piece. So take the visual quality part off the table. Would you recommend people watch that? Because it wouldn't be quite so miserable, or is it just, nah, we need a summary, get the shit out of here?
I think the pace is absolutely terrible in One Piece. It needs to be just cut down to be faster paced. I think that's like
you'll get to that evolution.
Rough. So I don't know. I think that eventually that could happen. I mean, I'm a big fan of like anything that's not at least 720p needs to be reanimated.
It's an interesting take.
But not necessarily remade. I just would love a studio to go and like literally reanimate the same shit, just the art. Leave the same voices, leave the same OST. I don't care if it sounds crustier. Maybe you do it in more like film grain and you only do it in 720. You don't do it in 1080, you know? You make it look like it's a little older, just newer, older. Instead of watching, because, for example, I'm not watching Monster. I just can't. I'm not going to watch Monster despite it being amazing. Urasawa's like phenomenal, best work ever, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch an anime in 480p to sit there just squinting because it's so blurry. I have a 4K TV. You're going to tell me I'm going to watch, on my monitors, which are 1440p. Watch 480 on a 1440p monitor? I'm not doing that. I don't care.
Can I relate? Just, this is the plight of like a desperate fan. I love Gundam to death. It is like in my top 3 all time, both the original series, like UC, Zeta Gundam. I'm an apologist for Double Zeta. I will watch anything. But
which one's the best one?
I think the best for someone who like has never watched before, or just my opinion, what's the best one overall?
Both.
But I think the best one to get into what I consider like the core Gundam fandom is 8th Mobile Suit Team. 13 episodes. Relatively recent animation, like, you know, that golden era, like 90s stuff. It's short. It kind of explains everything you need to know about the setting in the world. It's also unique. It's grounded. It's really cool. Animation design, has one of the best mecha fights of all time in it. And if you're into like more than just giant robots, it's got romance, it's got politics, it's got all this stuff. But it's
in 13 episodes.
13 episodes. It'll get you right in. You don't need to know anything else going in. Best of all time. My favorite, I don't know if it's the best, I love Zeta Gundam because it is, to me, like if you ever watch like a romance genre like adaptation or a movie where like it's just for people who are into romance and stuff, and it's like no frills, they don't fuck around with like trying to be accessible.
That's what this is, but with mecha?
Yeah, Zeta Gundam is like everything that the original Gundam series did, the one from like the 70s. The Zeta was in the 80s, and it was written by a very disgruntled man.
Oh my god, that old motherfucker.
Tabino. And the best part about Zeta is that, like, take every character archetype that you probably, and by now, we're in 2023, has been, like, done to death. Like, the angsty fucking, like, obnoxious rebel without a cause teenager who just wants to break everything in society because it all fucking sucks. Everything sucks. Adults suck. Everybody sucks. Now, ramp him up to 11 from the minute 1 of the series, and then watch over the course of 52 episodes as like his will is utterly broken, and he just goes crazy and mind kills people. Like, Zeta Gundam is everything that Gundam did before, and then everything it ever did afterwards, but like compressed into a pretty tight series. And the reason I brought it up was, so a few years ago, I think it was like 2015, 2016, Sunrise did their translation of a new Gundam, which is basically taking all of Zeta, and what a lot of fans thought was going to happen was that it was going to be this like full-on remake of this classic 80s thing, but for their anniversary. And so people were fucking stoked because in all the trailers, they would show scenes that they had actually done what Jordan suggested and redrawn the shit. And we were looking at this like, oh my fucking God, this is it. They're doing it in movie format, so they don't have to like be worried about the episode stuff. We're gonna get new hand-drawn looking animation for what we think is like the Gundam series. And then that shit came out. And they're probably in each movie, I think there were 3 movies. There were like 20 minutes total of like redrawn scenes. And then the rest of it was like up-resed stuff just from the show. Now, I like Zeta Gundam, but it's fucking jarring to like see a scene where like it looks like it was animated in the 2010s with like movie budget, and then I go back to like kind of blurry, kind of low res like 80s, like golden era 80s, yes, but still 80s TV like cells. I was like, what the fuck is this, bro? But you know, we're so desperate, we're like squinting at the screen to be like, that's a new thing they drew. That's so cool, and it's gone.
Damn.
So I hope that A, that doesn't happen, and B, that these Japanese studios like stop being so fucking cheap. Just stop it. Stop it. How does Dragon Ball Super look like ass? That IP is worth more than Disney.
Do you really think they're going to stop?
No, but I don't understand. I just need someone to explain to me. How does this... There are so many things like...
But I think that the main issue with something like Dragon Ball or with like One Piece and stuff is, don't they do those? They just go weekly on those, right?
Yes,
they don't like... And that's, I think, the biggest problem. I think One Piece is going to be
coming
one
from
of
the
last
old format.
So. One Piece is going to be one of the last ones. I mean, they stopped doing Black Clover. They stopped doing Boruto. And I feel like both of those are kind of similar for the same reason, especially when you see what was being done with Bleach. Thousand Blood Wars. Amazing.
I think they should adopt
that's
that.
How it should be.
Because, I mean, Oda's taking a break right now, isn't he? How long is his break?
I don't know.
A month?
I don't know, but that's what they should do from now on with but
everything
One Piece fans
should
aren't gonna like to hear that. I heard that there was a really big, I don't know who it was, but there was a really big like, oh my god, Sakuga moment in One Piece that was like reused recently, like really quickly after, like I don't know, maybe 10 episodes or something later or some shit like that.
Well, I mean, they've been going on 10 for a while, so
I don't know, but there was something. There was a big Sakuga moment, a beautiful animation, and then literally like, I don't know, fucking 10 episodes later. I don't know, maybe I'm misjudging the amount of episodes. Maybe it's 20, maybe it's 30 episodes, whatever. Some like very soon after, probably within the same year, they recycled the same exact animation. And like when I heard that happened, like, yeah, dude, because they're doing this shit every single week. So yes, they probably had a filler arc or something, or they had like a staff specifically working on this one thing.
Yep.
You think they're going to do that thing again when they only have a week from last week's episode to the next one to actually get this out? No, they're going to recycle those things. And that's what's going to happen. But if you break it down and you give, even if they went half a year, 24 episodes every year
style, everything.
And well, I mean, that's My Hero's a little harder because they get a season a year, which is crazy. That's insane.
It's like not every day. It's not every week.
No, for sure. But I feel like with One Piece, they could do that. They could do because I think My Hero does 2 cores a year, or like not necessarily a year, but
if
it's
they
like,
could, when they were catching up,
they
on
do 2 cores and then a year goes by, and then they do 2 cores and then a year goes by, and so it's essentially like, I don't know, you get.
There's like virtually no filler
every year and a half,
right?
Which is still good.
There's like what, 2 episodes of filler per season, if anything.
No, not even. It's all actually like from the manga.
Yeah,
but it's just that's rarer because it's literally a season every year. But they could do that with One Piece.
They could. They have the money to do that shit.
If you literally had half a year to really like make all of the episodes for 2 cores, just 2 cores, 24 episodes a year. You know, and you did it that way, and let's say it only aired in summer, fall, or spring, summer, whatever, however you want to do it, and then you literally had the other time of just animators working on the shit to get those 2 cores to be amazing. it could look fucking phenomenal. They'll never do it.
This is the thing that
money.
I don't want to. I want to follow this, and I want to have my usual rant. But there's two numbers that I always try to keep like in the front of my mind whenever I think about like this situation, whether it's a One Piece or it's a Gundam or it's a whatever, like Dragon Ball in particular. It's two numbers, okay? The first number is 350 billion. The second number is 28 billion. 350 billion is Toei's net worth. They are worth $350 billion. Dragon Ball as an IP is roughly 29 to 30 billion. That's just what the IP is worth right now. Dragon Ball Super or something like it, or like a successor series, doesn't need to do anything but be the best that anyone has ever seen. They could spend any amount of money.
Yeah.
Spend any amount of money they want. It could be a loss leader. It's fine if it's a loss leader. Because you get your money back. Sorry, I meant yen, not dollars in my head just before nobody flame me. Yen. But they can afford it. They can afford to do anything they want. If they want to get the best studios with the most time to work on it, with the greatest animators that the profession has ever produced, you could pay them 3 times their asking rate. And it wouldn't matter because these IPs are worth so much fucking money. They're worth so much money. You don't have to go cheap. Just blow everyone's balls off. That's what I want. I want, like, Jujutsu Kaisen looks like the A team at
Mappa.
Because that is, they have 3. They have A, B, and C.
Yeah.
And A has been working on JJK. Bro, these motherfuckers are out to impress people. I Jordan, you haven't seen the first episode. There's a fucking walk cycle in the very beginning. When,
I've heard about it, yeah.
Yeah. Urahime, if you remember, Joe, like in the very beginning when they go in the house, and like that scene where she's like, they first enter and there's like all that shit on the ground, and she's like, you just see her like feet walking and like picking around, like that shit could be done in every one of these like super well-known high tier IPs that are out there. When they shit out another series, like experimental animation, the best people doing all kinds of shit, having fun, playing around. I mean, Demon Slayer is another great example because they did some wild experimental shit this season, or last season rather, because they were like, yeah, we're a flag bearer, let's fucking go. Like UFO Table is like, we're not fucking around. And yet somehow these other big series are like nickel and diming, like, here, we're gonna give you 15 minutes of new animation for your favorite series that you've been paying us for the last 30 years to watch. Like, fuck you! Like, sometimes I'm just like, what the fuck? Gundam especially it's unforgivable because they make so much money selling plastic toys. All these shows are just advertisements for the toys. So they're gonna make their money back no matter what the fuck they do. And it's always like pulling teeth. Oh, we've announced our anniversary for our 48th year. Oh, what's it gonna be? Oh, it's 16 episodes. Awesome! Net animation 3 minutes each. Like, what the fuck? What?
Net animation. Wait, 3 episodes.
Like
so
3
minutes
like
each?
50, yeah, like 350,
We're not even
53-minute episodes.
Not even
and it's
that.
like, what the fuck is this?
We're getting
it's
a
like
trailer.
It's a cutscene in a mobile game. And it's like, I hate you people. I hate you. I hate you so much.
It's a trailer.
It's a trailer.
We're gonna get a trailer.
All right, I'm done ranting. I'm over it. Do you have any recommendations?
I don't have any for this week.
Joe, what you got?
I just what for people listening?
Yeah, anything you want to recommend.
If you have not seen Ranking of Kings, go watch it. Older, not really, just last year, I think. Year before. Ranking of Kings amazing. Last season, Dangers in My Heart, probably low-key top 3 romance for me. Rom-coms, it's amazing. Love that. Made me laugh the entire time. You'll have to like get over the first 2-3 episodes where the main character is very cringe, but I found it hilarious how cringe he was. And then he stops doing the really, like, he does this really cringe thing where he like wants people to die. and he like fantasizes murdering them or watching them die.
Oh yeah,
which is very cringe and weird in the first couple episodes, but literally by episode 3 he stops and he never does it again, and it's amazing and funny and like good cringe and like the typical like romance, oh my god I can't believe that's happening type of shit.
Yeah,
it was probably my favorite anime of last season, and that's up against like Oshinoko and whatever else. Vinland Saga is technically Vinland Saga is from winter, so like we're not counting that one as last season. So technically, watch Vinland Saga, also amazing, but most people have probably watched that by now. And read Golden Kamuy.
Oh hell yes, I'm right there with you. Yes.
Well, I know a lot of people outside of Golden Kamuy. A lot of people, I've been seeing so many people complain about Vinland Saga season 2.
Bunch of
they
idiots.
Are ridiculous.
Because they I know why, because they were told Vinland Saga is all about a small child ritually dissecting people for 20 episodes and didn't realize there's actually a message and an actual hero's journey, like a real one, not like the bullshit that they try to pull on you half the time. But I digress.
That's my recommendations.
Cool. I guess I'll ride with Jordan on Final Fantasy 16.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, so I will just say that, like, RPGs are back, baby. No, it's really good.
Oh man, they hating that shit so bad. People are pissed.
I don't give a shit.
But it's still good. It's so fucking good, man.
I've never played a Final Fantasy game in my life.
Don't worry, this isn't a Final Fantasy game.
It's not a Final Fantasy game. It's literally a name at this point.
Yes.
Like that's it.
No, but I think it's fantastic. It's the same director who rescued Final Fantasy 14, but it was like, hey, let's do a story like that, but just with like sex and people getting dissected and a lot of blood.
Hold on.
Oh boy. Which icon are you on?
I know more about what happens later on, but I'm just after the first main.
The prologue?
After the prologue. I don't want to give anything away to anyone who hasn't seen it.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
After the first mystery has been revealed and the
game
opens up. Yes, but I heartily recommend it. It's funny because I feel like I will put money down that in like 4 or 5 years when people are like thinking about this game,
they're gonna be like, it was amazing, and it's an idea. Well,
it's gonna be a lot of comparisons to One Piece, ironically, because the beginning of the game is very long, like longer than anything you've probably expected, because you keep feeling like, okay, this is when the game start. Oh nope, there's more for me to do. This is where the game start. Oh nope, there's more for me to do. But there's so much like cinematic good shit that there's just times where I'm happy to put the controller down, let that shit wash over me. Like even the very beginning,
because that is Final Fantasy, like political, like blah blah blah, world building, politics, magic, blah blah blah. I will say I know exactly what's going to happen because it's happening in Final Fantasy 15 right now, and it's happening in Stranger of Paradise, which is the further away you get from a Final Fantasy, the more people love it.
Yeah,
like without a doubt. I am seeing niggas talk about Final Fantasy 15 these past few weeks as though like it's a misunderstood masterpiece. And it's like it was a mismanaged shit show. It can still be good, but it was a mismanaged shit show that just like we got fed pieces. Like the only way I would even recommend for people to even play 15 was once the Royal Edition came out. You get all that fucking DLC at once, which was supposed to be the game.
Yes.
So, yeah, but
it also
this,
it has the best Sid. 15 does, but
I know people losing their mind at the Sid in 16. That voice.
Well, I also want to put over, we talk about things that don't get recognized, but in 16 in particular, I want to shout out the physical performances, because there's a lot of like, not just mocap, but face cap, like acting that is done. And it's not trying to like surpass the Uncanny Valley. Like these characters don't look like real people, even though some of them are quite beautiful. But the Kupka, who's the Titan, the dominant for the Titan, there's a scene that happens where that physical acting is fucking powerful. Yeah. Like, and Jordan knows what I'm talking about. It involves a box. Yes. And I'm like watching this, and it's the most simple scene, but just like in some of these anime we've reviewed today, where like directing makes all the difference when you play with your camera angles and you do things that are visually interesting. But man, the physical performances that I've seen in this game, in the main story stuff, not the side content that's very like, gamey, stiff, shot reverse, whatever.
Which
like
does like also upgrade when you get past a certain point in the game, and where all the side missions just like take off. As far as just like being like lore expansions and things of that nature.
Yeah. So I want to put over that Final Fantasy 16, not just from a game point of view, but also like doing something interesting, new, unique, and fun is worth your time. I waited to get a PS5 until that game came out.
Same.
So that is
how's Apex on PlayStation 5?
I have yet to try because my normal team is like out and I'll be traveling a lot this month, so it's like when am I gonna do it? But if you want an anime recommendation, since we did talk a little bit before about stuff that's out there that no one really looks at, go watch Blame on Netflix. Go watch that. It's been out for a couple of years now, right? It came out 2021, I want to say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I can't put over how much I love Blame, the manga, and this is different but also very good, like super creepy. So watch it. Joe, you got anything else you wanna drop some deets on us so people can find you, or you have any other thoughts?
Oh yeah, I mean, you can find me YouTube Freshest Anime. That's pretty much it. Yeah, if you check out, go to my channel. Look up a series you might like, and if you see it there, check out some reactions. If you enjoy it, subscribe, and if you don't, well, sorry.
Very good.
Don't comment. Just keep.
Don't comment. Don't comment about Dommies, mommies, or massive anythings.
Actually, comment anyways. Fuck it, I don't care.
Get the algorithm.
The
algorithm.
Make sure you also like and try to watch it all the way through.
After what Reanimated went through with Chainsaw Man, I'm just like, sometimes maybe you should tell people to just fuck off.
Yeah, well,
sometimes.
What you gonna do?
Yeah, but you all can find us on. Oh my god, I don't know what fucking app now. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
We're all living in hell.
Okay,
aren't there like new ones? What's the Threads thing?
We're not
is that
on
a new app?
Yes, that's
Threads is through
Facebook.
Instagram or like
Meta,
Meta,
which is under Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently if you start a Threads and you don't want it anymore, you can't delete it without deleting your Instagram. I don't know. But we
I don't even use Instagram.
Yeah, we're on Blue Sky. We're on Twitter, anime_savants. And then, we are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok as just all regular, anime savants. TikTok is really I don't know how. Sorry, actually I do know how people get away with that, but like TikTok is very like wanton with its community guidelines and enforcing them with certain people and not others. But I mean, it's their platform, so of course they can be like that. But yeah.
Right. You can catch me on Twitter at Neural Handshake. And shout out to the folks who have engaged a little bit with my ongoing journey to get through all the anime we're trying to cover this season. I promise you we'll find some diamonds this time. All right. We'll try.
Yeah, but, I know isekai cheat skills. Cubics.
I don't want to fucking talk about that. So irritated.
My favorite part of that was the backgrounds in episode 12.
Right, because nothing else is happening in episode 12.
Yeah, that was all that was on screen.
Yeah, right. Nothing else is happening.
Oh my god.
Oh, we spent too much time.
Okay.
Last week.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Bye.